Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to FanZcene. And this is the Physical Media Show, where we talk and show physical media. With me, as always, is Runner and Tom. Welcome, guys.
Yay!
What's up?
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! It's a miracle.
I couldn't tell if you were yawning or you were.
It's a yay.
It's a yay, man.
You got that song that came out from that guy last year? It goes boom, boom, boom. Yay!
Yay!
He's too young for crank yankers, I bet.
Yeah, he don't know it. He's too young for a lot of things.
He could get canceled for that shit now.
Yeah, you could big time. And hail to everybody in the chat already. Random Brad, OBG70, and Brian Barth, and everybody that's watching right now. Hail to you guys.
Hail.
Yep, Brian Barth. I didn't see a lot of CinemaCon news.
I saw that.
I saw a couple of things.
I saw a couple of things. Some good announcements and some ones I don't care, and then some pretty weird ones like was it Ghostbusters 4? They say 5, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, a sequel to Afterlife is coming.
Yeah, that's good.
3.
Venom 3, I don't really care for as much. What else? They showed 20 minutes of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, 15 or 20. Yeah.
I think 30 was like, didn't they show like Avatar or some shit?
Yeah, that's what Brian Bart's talked about.
Yeah,
it's called Way of the Water.
Yeah, I don't get. I honestly, who gives a fuck about Avatar 2?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
I mean, it's got its fan base, but I really don't understand why. And I guess they showed a trailer for The Flash.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and Michael Keaton says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." At the end of the trailer, which I'm like, I'm like, listen. The context of it is weird because they described it as, Ezra Miller's Flash says, "You win," and then the next shot is like Michael Keaton saying, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And it's like, okay, in that context, that's fucking weird as shit. That line is great.
It's just going to be another. I have no interest in it, really.
No, overall, I think.
Not only that, they said he's got like 10 fucking costumes in it and shit like that. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
What? Come on.
Yeah, I got a whole breakdown of the movie too. So.
Listen, man, that's crazy.
I mean, I've heard of the leaks. It sounds bad, like, and for someone that's a
the trailer kind of confirms some of those leaks because
yeah, Michael Shannon's Zod is in it, which. In one part, it's cool because I like his Zod, but the
story sounds dumb as fuck, though.
Yeah,
exactly. The story sounds dumb, and I don't like that character is getting involved with that because they're gonna fucking ruin it.
Yeah, it's not. It's just using the concept of Flashpoint. It's not really Flashpoint. Which
that's what I've been saying this entire time. They may be using the concept of Flashpoint, but it's nowhere. It's not going to be anywhere near what it is in the comics or that animated movie, which are both great in my opinion.
It's just going to be a crap show all around.
Yeah, like if you want a better Flashpoint movie, go watch Flashpoint Paradox. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or just read the comic.
I mean, the comic's great. I know some people don't like the Flashpoint comic. I like it a lot.
It's all right. It's got its moments.
It's got a lot of great moments on it. I mean, I'm a sucker for Reverse Flash too. And it's like, how are you doing Flashpoint without Reverse Flash? Because we know he's not
another version of Flash.
Yeah, they technically are just with another version of him. That's what I'm about to say.
That's fucking retarded.
Well, that's what happens when you turn over characters to somebody who really doesn't care about them.
What's the director's name who did the It movies?
Andy Muschietti.
Yeah, like when he was announced as director, I'm like, okay, that's an interesting choice.
He was work for hire.
Yeah, I agree.
This was just he was just coming in and doing whatever he was told to do, and it's 20 different cooks having 20 different things to say about this movie, and that's why it wound up being what it was. It's just,
Yeah.
Who knows? But
it's the
let's get.
culmination of this fucking Snyderverse shit too. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the only reason that this exists is because they wanted to get out of the Snyderverse. So.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the many reasons why I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But
we didn't have much for announcements or.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's not much too new. I did hear Red Sonja is getting a 4K by Studio Canal, I believe. Or
Really?
Was it Studio Canal or Second Sight? I can't remember. I'd have to look that up. Yeah.
Well, Studio Canal would probably have the foreign rights to it, but yeah.
Yeah. So I heard that was getting a 4K because
Really?
I know we talked about. Yeah, I know we talked about Conan was possibly getting an Arrow. Yeah, Arrow 4K or something.
Yeah, because that's a Dino De Laurentiis title and through Universal in the US.
So that was like the biggest one I saw.
If they're doing the first two, I wouldn't be surprised if they do all three.
See if I can find it again so I can make sure I'm saying the right thing. Night Gallery Season 2 is coming from Kino Lorber.
Yeah, I saw that. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Coming around July or August, it says Studio Canal Red Sonja 4K.
Where'd you see that at?
On Dawn of the Disc.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't checked his stuff today.
I think that's like the only one I saw today. And I think the Disc Father put it out too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was that. I think that was about it. Really. That's why I hadn't done what. Go ahead.
I haven't heard shit, honestly.
It's been kind of slow with this, but Arrow's supposed to announce this Friday some more titles.
Species 4K.
Oh, this Friday.
Oh yeah, Species from Shout Factory is on 4K. Yeah, coming.
I think we talked about that before, but yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like we got Invaders from Mars.
Oh yeah, Chris Gore was just actually talking about that with them.
We got Batman the Animated Series vinyl that's shaped like a bat.
Awesome.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Other than that, yeah, that looks like the newest stuff they've got listed here. So yeah, nothing really new.
Yeah.
Let me trying to see. I'm looking through the Disc Fathers stuff.
Yeah.
What is it? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
That's a newer movie. Yeah,
that's a newer movie. It's getting a 4K. Another new movie is coming out with Michelle Yeoh. What's it? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Yeah, that's coming out in 4K. Whenever they announced the release date for that, Doom is coming out in 4K from Universal. Looks like
that movie wasn't very good, anyways.
I didn't see it. I like the games, but have you played the games, Greg?
Dude, I've told you a million times. I've barely played any games.
Okay, but knowing where
I played the original Dune. Now I'm saying Dune. Doom. I played the original Doom before, but that's the only Doom I've ever played.
Okay, then good. Then that's good enough. You've played the classic Doom. That's good. I have the 2016 version of the game on my PS4, and it comes with a digital download code for the first 3 games, the original games.
Cool.
It's fucking awesome. Doom is.
But I'm not really in the game, so
I know, but you've had to have played some, right?
I loved my Nintendo. I love my Super Nintendo. I love my my Nintendo 64. And I love the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360, but I really never played games on them.
Oh, well, there you go.
Usually there was like one game I found, I played it, and that was it.
Well, there you go. You've played some games, and
yeah, but I've never really been.
Well, no, maybe you weren't too into it, but yeah, you've at least done some. You've at least done some work.
Yeah. But that's me. I've always been into movies. That's just been my movies and comics were my love. That's what I was into all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, that Batman animated series vinyl looks fucking amazing. The bat shape thing, it looks great.
Somebody's going to have to share the picture of it because if you're going to talk about it, let's show it to the audience.
I will. I'll show it right now.
And then we'll get into the picks.
All right, share my
But
screen.
yeah, that's okay.
There you go.
It's interesting. Interesting.
That's badass.
I like it.
I like it too. That's really good.
That's cool.
I want to get that.
I noticed you got the Batman Mask of the Phantasm soundtrack there, Runner.
I did. That's not one of my picks, but I did. I got it for less than $2 at a Salvation Army.
Listen, man. That's awesome.
And I listened to some of it last night, and it's a beautiful fucking score, man. It's beautiful fucking music. It's perfect Batman music. Like just And the movie is just a masterpiece overall.
Yep. But let's start it off, Runner. What do you got first? Let's start with you first. What's your first pick of the night?
All right. So this first pick is probably the last like best comedy to ever come out of recent. And well, this came out like more than a decade ago. So not too old, but pretty old. Most people have probably seen it. If you have not seen it, what the fuck are you doing with in your life? You need to see this movie if you haven't. Yes, kids, that is Tropic Thunder, the director's cut. Classic movie.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, what do you mean, you people?
Survive.
I feel like I'm being attacked here, Runner.
Well, if you're feeling attacked, survive.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
it is pretty funny. It's pretty funny. It's got a great cast.
Good. At some points it is kind of misunderstood, like because I've had to explain this movie to my mom at times because she hated it when I showed it to her. I kind of knew she wouldn't like it, but I'm
it's
like,
not really a woman. Not to be sexist or anything, but it's really not something that appeals to a lot. Well, I guess maybe it does, depending on.
I mean, maybe
what kind of actors you like.
I mean, I was gonna say, I think like I know there's some women out there that
it's
like
a guy's movie, but yeah, it'll appeal to everybody.
It is definitely like the target audience is definitely guys. Don't get me wrong, but it depends. It depends, like because like my mom is like she likes a certain she likes certain types of movies. Like most of the movies you like, Greg, she probably does not like.
I guarantee most movies I like, most people don't like. So.
Yeah, like that's why I've been like very cautious to like show her certain movies. I'm like, okay, like this is a good movie. Like I think was it No Way Home was like the last thing I think she watched, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a movie you'd like. I know Unbreakable was another one I showed her. It was like, okay, I think you'll like this one.
Cool. But
so like it's like movies like that she'll like watch and like she'll be like, yeah, I like it. But movies like this, plus she says she's not a big like Ben Stiller fan in terms of like his movies, which I mean I haven't seen.
He's hit or miss. Honestly,
yeah,
Ben Stiller's hit or miss.
Yeah, I know.
He's done some good ones and he's done some really crappy ones, and he's been an all right director and sometimes he's been a really bad director.
I mean, so, I've heard most people say that this is like one of his few good movies.
Stiller, yeah, he's mostly this, but once in a great while he'll knock it out the park.
Yeah,
this is his best movie, hands down. I mean,
yeah.
Because I tried explaining the whole like blackface thing to my mom when it comes to Robert Downey Jr.'s character, and you know, I think she like I thought she'd laugh at that whole thing. I really did. I'm like, you need to see it because of this specific thing. Plus, she doesn't like Jack Black. That's another problem.
Which he's like, another one that's a hit or miss.
I agree. He's another hit or miss. He's good in this. He's pretty good in this.
Renner was 2 years old when Tropic Thunder came out in theaters.
I wasn't that young. Fuck off. I was like think I was like 7 or some shit. I don't know. 6. I somewhere around that age. I wasn't that fucking young.
But it is a good movie. It's probably his best one. His best one, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I've heard most people
Cable
say.
Guy's pretty good too. It's a little bit underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Cable Guy.
Yeah, Cable Guy's all right. Hey, you fixed my list, you son of a bitch. I love this scene. It was a good movie.
Oh, and Robert Downey Jr. was nominated an Oscar for this movie.
Yeah,
yes, he was.
I remember.
Pretty funny considering the character.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like to always point that out when the Rees lose their mind over.
I know.
Like, oh yeah, by the way,
I remember when they started losing their shit when they found out he did blackface in Tropic Thunder, and it's like, oh shit! Wait until they hear about the Oscar.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for it.
Yeah,
so.
but no. Well, Heath Ledger won it.
He got nominated though. Yeah.
Yeah. He like that because that came out the same year as The Dark Knight and Iron Man.
Yeah, but that's a good first pick, Runner. You finally brought it on because I know you've talked about it before, so I was glad to see you finally bring it on there.
Yeah, and I heard what is it? Quarter Black Garrett talk about this movie in his channel on one of his Let's Talk streams.
Yeah,
and yeah, like the way he describes it is perfect. It's like because he talked about a little bit about like Ben Stiller and kind of where he came from with because he was pretty young when he was in Hollywood because I think his like parents were comedians or something, and he saw.
You don't know Ben Stiller's parents?
No, I don't give a shit.
Jerry Stiller.
Well, I think I've heard probably heard the name. I don't care enough to research.
Dad on Seinfeld.
Yeah,
I've never watched Seinfeld.
And his mom is what's her face? I can't think of her name now.
Yeah, I can't think of her name too, but I knew his mom too.
No, I don't care enough to know who Ben Stiller's parents are. I'm sorry.
They were kind of famous.
Well, I bet they were just not famous in my. I'm
old enough to remember the Ben Stiller show on Fox.
Me too.
No, but
like comedy and all that shit.
Like no, but I kind of like that. It's like sort of a personal thing, and like making it into a comedy. It's pretty fucking genius in my opinion. Because I think that's what some people don't understand about this movie.
There you go, Brian Barth and Mara. That was his mom's name, right. And Mara.
Yeah,
thank you. As for like Robert Downey, sometimes when they lock you into Marvel contracts, you got to do a lot of those Marvel movies. But he has done a few in between there.
Yeah, he's done some work. It's just not as big as like Iron Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only ones he's really had that were successful were the Sherlock movies and Tropic Thunder. Otherwise, all the stuff he's done just hasn't really done anything.
And I can't think of anything else he's been in. Like he's gonna
done like The Judge or something like that, and I think it was one that's called The.
I actually saw The Judge. I own The Judge. This isn't too bad, really.
I mean, he's done other movies in between. What was that other one he did with?
Victor Fontaine says Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah,
but nobody saw it.
No one saw that shit.
And what else did he? He's doing that new Runner should be happy. He's doing that movie with what's his name?
Christopher Nolan. I was gonna say that he's gonna be in Christopher Nolan.
That's right, he was in that.
Yeah, Due Date.
Yeah, but almost. Oh yeah, Due Date. I only saw a little bit of that.
But he's done things.
Almost every actor is gonna be in that new Christopher Nolan movie.
I still love this. Y'all leave Runner alone. He's a young gun. And then Tyrell says, "Shh, Runner."
What's he saying? Shush? What are you saying? Shush for, Tyrell? I need contact.
What happened? Well, I've heard they're working on something for HBO Max for Sherlock Holmes.
And he was in Zodiac. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in Zodiac.
No, Dan Blackroyd said it.
Yeah, I know. I see it.
No, they didn't highlight it, so I don't know.
Envy was all right. It wasn't too bad.
I haven't seen that.
But yeah, it's good. Good first pick there, Runner. Tom, you got something else I want to say real quick? Runner.
Me?
Yeah. Did you want to say something real quick?
No.
Oh,
I don't.
Okay.
I don't need to say anything. I thought you were talking to Tom.
No. Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was fun. That was a good one.
Couldn't remember if that was before or after.
I think that's before Iron Man.
That might have been before.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's not using all the same actors this time around, but he's using a lot.
I mean, what's his? Well, Matt Damon's gonna be in it. He was in Interstellar. Gary Oldman's gonna be in it, which is pretty cool. Who else is gonna be in it? There's a shit ton of people in it. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, the kid, the guy that played fake Han Solo is in it. Jack Quaid.
Yeah, it's got a lot. But Tom, what do you got for us for your first pick of the night?
Well, let's see. Where should I start here?
I'm interested because you got some good ones.
Well, let's pick up where we left off last week, since we were talking so much RoboCop.
Sounds good.
I, of course, had to watch RoboCop 2, which Shout did a very great 2K scan of the inner positive. Yeah, it's not too bad. The inner positive a couple of years back. Got some special features on here. It definitely needed an upgrade. The picture's pretty good for only being a 2K scan. Yeah, it's kind of to me, it's a hidden gem. I like it quite a bit. I liked it growing up. I don't get understand the hate the sequels get. Well, I understand some of the hate 3 gets, but
yeah, I understand. But I never knew about the hate for part 2 till I got older, because I liked part 2, so it never bothered me. And then, like, when I started hearing how people didn't like it, I was like, why don't you guys like this movie? So, yeah, I agree with you.
No, I like it because it just kicks off. It doesn't really meander in the past. It doesn't have to sit there and reiterate everything. Because, normally sequels at this time period, they would have either come up with a completely new RoboCop to try and get you back into the story or retell the whole story all over again. No, it just kind of gets you right back to where you left off. And the cast is pretty much all back. Frank Miller actually wrote the story for this. And they kind of changed his story. So, like, you can find his version in a comic form, but it really changed when it gets to part 3. But no, I kind of like the whole idea of it. And it's kind of neat that they got a new RoboCop called RoboCop 2. And I really love, like most people, I dig the bits where they're trying to come up with a new RoboCop and it just won't work.
Yeah.
Killing themselves. And it's like
pulls his helmet off.
And the other one shoots itself after it shoots the other guy. And
I love that scene.
It maintains the humor of the original while also still getting into more deeper subjects, especially with the kid, And
it's like you said, they don't really rehash.
Oh, no, it's not even a ripoff or a remake of the original film in any way, shape, or form, except for, you get somebody put into a machine, but this time it's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And, and just the whole hierarchy of the corporation kind of gets into play, and they're setting up the whole idea of Delta City coming in, and, a little bit of the rehabilitation programs type stuff's coming into play. And, the whole idea of just I love how they just jumped back into this world. And I think Irvin Kershner deserves a lot of credit for that. He, of course, also directed Empire Strikes Back and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just thought they did a great job kind of getting back into the world. And, it's that hyper realistic kind of B-movie comic book kind of world that,
exactly
we got in the first film. And I think this is just a great extension of it.
Yeah. And it feels like it feels like this is where it should go, because it's like you jump out, you'd find, RoboCop's free. He doesn't have that directive not to, at the end of the first movie, and he's working with the police again, and he's it's back into that. And it's like, it feels like logically this is where it's going to go. And of course it feels like somebody's going to want to have another RoboCop. So the best, to try to make another one, just they end up getting the wrong candidate this time.
Yeah, and of course you got Tom Noonan playing Kane, who ends up becoming Robocop 2, which is a great character as well. Which, I mean, it's a hard to follow up Kurtwood Smith. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
That was tough. And they actually pulled it off, which is amazing because Tom Noonan, totally different, bad guy. Because, Kurtwood Smith's character, of course, is all like flashy and just, give a fuck attitude, let the world burn kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Noonan is like this. He's kind of a mix between like a Manson with who's the guy that did the Heaven's Gate stuff? Shit. But just
who was
that
it?
kind of, I can't remember the guy's
Jim
name.
Jones, maybe.
Yeah, like that kind of like he can easily sway people to his,
Yeah, and he's like cool. He's like cool,
Christ-like, and all that shit.
Yeah, I get it. Tom Noonan is good, and he's very underrated in a lot of stuff.
Well, and it is kind of comparable to the first film because, what's his face who directed the first movie? I just forgot his name. Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven.
He actually is a scholar, a theologian scholar. So he studies like Jesus and stuff, and like he threw a lot of the Jesus stuff into he literally has RoboCop walking on water at the end of the movie. He did that on purpose. That wasn't on accident. It was he put all that stuff in there on purpose. So I love how they carry that over into Kane in this film, to where he is the Christ-like character, but he's obviously the devil in discrise, right?
Exactly. He's more like the Antichrist.
Exactly. Yes. So I think they did a great job playing with that, and bringing in Frank Miller from the comic book world helped keep that kind of a B movie grindhouse kind of feel to it that they kept from the first film, and then I just loved it. Is it as good as the first film? Hell no, but it's definitely to me like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 when the first film's a 10 out of 10. So yeah. Exactly,
and I agree, man. Because like I said, it just logically feels this is where the next step would go, and it feels like it's like continues and it picks up, and like it's. I don't think so many people actually realize the Christ-like stuff from RoboCop and RoboCop 2 that they carried over into that because you really got to be like a fan of Paul Verhoeven and stuff to know all that, and once you do that, you see it, and it actually enhances the movie and the story a little better,
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in the first movie that Verhoeven put in, like when he's being executed, he had him put his arms up like Jesus on the cross. That's why he's doing that and stuff like that. The whole resurrection bit, and all that's in there. It's clearly in there. He's like a modern day Christ, is what.
And then the next logical step.
Yes, the next logical step. Jetpacks. Well, Jesus would have had jetpacks if he didn't die.
It is, though. I really do like the second one. I honestly, like I said, I really never understood why so many people did not like the second one. I didn't get it, and the third one I completely understand because Brian Barth wants to know, is RoboCop 3 good?
Hold that thought.
Yeah, hold on to that thought, Brian Barth. Tom's got some stuff. He came prepared tonight.
But yeah, as far as special features go, this one actually has quite a bit of good stuff on it. Shout put together a nice package for this. If you can still get your hands on it, I don't think it's out of print yet. But considering they let Shout do it,
not either. It's not.
I was gonna say, since they let Shout do a new 2K scan of the Inner Positive, I would not suspect RoboCop 2 is going to get a 4K scan anytime soon.
Probably not.
I plan on getting 2 and 3.
It didn't do the box office, so yeah.
Yeah, I think
it did okay.
Shout is still like $18, so
it did okay, but it was up against like Dick Tracy and shit like that. So, like, yeah.
Is that Shout Factory RoboCop 2 cleaned up as compared?
Yes,
to
it's as I was just saying, it's a completely new 2K scan. It looks so much better than the other version. Yes, it's not quite as good as a 4K scan, obviously, but it's still really damn good. And it's the Inner Positive, not the negative, but it's still better than what we had.
Yeah.
Wasn't it though, Bogey? I get what Bogey's saying here, because like Kirshner really did. He must have totally just got what Verhoeven was doing with that first film, because it was like, if you didn't know Kirshner directed it, you would have just thought it was a Verhoeven movie.
You guys there? Everything just all my stuff just cut out for a minute.
I didn't know.
I couldn't hear anything.
I didn't know.
Couldn't
Maybe
hear
it was
anything.
me.
It's just like
that happens to me so often. I wasn't sure if it was me too, but no.
yeah,
So yeah, I
it
didn't
was
have
weird.
much else to say about the movie itself. But I don't even know if Runner's seen it.
Runner, have you even seen part 2?
No, not yet.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, no, I've only seen the first one.
Kane,
hey, the TV
care to
show.
step outside.
I love that scene.
He's a murderer.
And like, why? We'll get to Brent Barth. Why Peter Weller didn't return to part 3. So I guess we'll go to my first pick of the night, which is also has something to do with Tom as well. So we'll get this out of the way. And since Runner brought it last week too, if my internet's not running too slow on me, did it? There we go. Heavy Metal on 4K. This book is amazing. The movie looks fantastic.
Yeah, that is
it's a great scan. My God, did they improve this film? I still haven't watched Heavy Metal 2000 yet, but it's just a Blu-ray on here, so I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't watched the.
Oh, I haven't
seen like 15 minutes of it.
Did you?
Yeah, you can tell why they didn't do it in 4K because it was clearly mastered in 1080p barely. Like it's a very soft 1080p.
I mean, it's only honestly, like, without even seeing the second movie, like, it's probably only worth getting the first one a 4K than the second, so it's fine.
Got to remember though, the second film was made for cable. Like it was made for I can't remember if it was Showtime or Cinemax, but like it was made directly for cable, so it doesn't quite feel like an actual film. Like I started watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is about as bad as I remember. Not horrible, but
it just doesn't have the magic of that first one.
No, and it's all one story, so it's not like split up stories like the original either. So, but no, the original, of course, I watched it too, and you're right. I boasted a bit about it last week, and I finally got to sit down and watch it all the way through. Oh my God, the Dolby Atmos soundtrack on this.
It does. It sounds amazing. The voice of the orb.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, not just that, but everything. I mean, they just cranked it all up, and you can
the sound,
like hear it, and
when you hear the rock and the rock music and the special effects and the sounds, it's just amazing. Oh, look, a Runner here. He's got the soundtrack.
Fuck yeah! I got it from the mail last week.
But it is really good. I enjoyed it. I got it over the weekend, and man, I forgot how great some of that was, and like I'd never really thought about it till you mentioned it a while back when Runner brought Fifth Element on. But that first story is legitimately Fifth Element.
Yeah, it is.
So I never really thought about that.
That's what we said when that came out too. Even the trailers were like, that looks like Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty dang close.
After watching the movie, I definitely saw that.
It definitely inspired it, and it's just so good, and it's just the story Tarek and
I mean, it felt like both like Heavy Metal and Blade Runner in one.
Yeah, it's just a great story, great animation, great voices. I love the story, the one with John Candy. I forgot about
that one. Is great.
Dan and Din. That was a great one. The zombie airplane one was good.
What does he say? Like when he covers up his junk, he's like,
"I'm not going to be walking around with my dork hanging out."
Yeah, that line is so good. It's like,
I've been a virgin for 16 years, and now I get it twice in one day.
2 of them.
18,
yeah.
Yeah,
dude, he was hilarious in that. And who did Harold Ramis play again?
He played the one alien, and they all did like kind of various voices throughout.
Yeah.
But they all had kind of like a main one. John Candy is the only one who got like the most voices because he did the robot.
He did the robot. Yeah.
I only recognized the one like purple dude as John
Eugene
Candy.
Levy did Stern, so
yeah,
there was that. Yeah, but it was good, and it just
have an angle.
Yeah, an angle, hand over fist.
Hand over fist. Oh, I love having each and every one of the stories is great, right? Like this. Patience, because even like you go through like the Tales from the Dark Side movie and all those movies, what's the other one? Creep Show and all
Creep
that.
Show.
All that stuff. There's always this that one just kind of like I always skip over that one. That was my favorite. You can't in heavy metal. The whole entire thing, the whole 90 minutes is a visual feast. And
the
music and the song. It's just it was one of those
colors. Like you said, it looks like a cell, like the animation cell.
If you pause it, it looks like you're looking at the animation cell on.
Yes, and it's just
like crazy
pops, and the music does play into it, and even though it's just like different stories, it's one story really, because it's this the evil orb telling it to this girl, and it leads to her story. You know what's going to happen to her by the end, and it plays out so well.
Lochnar wants to kill her, but because he knows she's the next Terrakian or whatever.
Yeah, the Terrakian.
Because it's so good. He's the only one who can destroy it.
Yeah.
Because he said, "No, don't sacrifice yourself." No.
And the chicks are hot. You get boobs. So if you like cartoon boobs and stuff, so
fuck yes.
Hell yeah.
Unapologetically.
I know, man. I forgot because it's been so long since I've seen that they do full frontals on the women.
I know.
Well, that's why that episode of South Park is so great. Is they didn't even have to try that hard. It is literally just like you want to fuck, yeah.
The last one, the white-haired chick that rides the dragon.
Tarna,
yeah. That's fucking amazing stuff.
The best one, though, is the chick who's like, kill him. Well, no, wait. I want him to pleasure me first. Somebody asked me what heavy metal was all about. I just explained to him that scene, and it's like, now do you get it? That's what heavy metal is.
Yeah,
that's the one where that one dude has like sex with her in the bed, and and her fucking tits are like up top of his head. Is that the one?
That's where he says, I've been a virgin for 18 years, and now I get it twice in
John
one
Candy
day.
one.
Oh, that's the one with John Candy. Yeah. That one was.
I love when he's fucking. Great. He's the robot too, and he's fucking the chick too.
Yeah,
when we get married.
Oh yeah, that one was
like,
good.
We gotta have. What if I come home and you're doing the toaster?
Promise, you just have to trust me.
That's a great one.
That one's good too.
You're sitting there snorting all the fucking coke and shit.
Yeah,
space coke, whatever the hell they call it, I forgot. But
it was good. It's been a while since this.
I fly better when I'm stoned, man.
Yeah,
trust me. You just gotta let your hands do the work, like you're straight.
It was good.
You're right. You are the best stone driver. Hello, Harold Ramis.
Yeah, that was Harold Ramis. Yeah, the Stone Pilot one. But it was just really good, and I was glad to finally get a good copy of it.
Thank you, Bogey. Plutonium Nyborg. Well, did you compare it to the old Blu-ray? Because it is like night and day difference.
Well, I actually never had the old Blu-ray, so I've only I've been waiting for a while to get
it. It's the same exact one.
Oh, the one that's with it is the same Blu-ray.
They did not do a new Blu-ray for it. So for those who are like, "Oh, should I upgrade or not?" Yes.
100 times yes.
Even if you don't have a 4K TV yet, but you have something that's capable of playing 4K, it will look that much better in just standard 2K. Because the old really Blu-ray is such a shitty scan compared to this. Like this just looks amazing. This is master all the way through. I think they might even either redid the titles or they were imprinted on the original negative.
I haven't seen the quality of the Blu-ray, so I'll have to compare the two at some point.
It's night and day. Just watch the opening credits alone.
And I gotta be honest. I mean, I like steelbooks, but I'm not huge into them because I don't like getting them bent. This is a pretty damn good steelbook.
Honestly, I agree with you. This is probably one of my favorite steelbooks ever.
Yeah,
this is one of the better ones.
It's a damn good steelbook. Plus, it only comes with the steelbook, so it's like that's your only option.
It's fine. I mean,
it's the original poster art, and then the back is really cool because it's all silver and shit. And,
and then it make the spaceship that Eugene Levy's Stone character really pops on the back of that.
Actually, that's a stoned alien spaceship, but
the stoned alien spaceship.
One that looks like a smiley face.
Yeah, and then it's got the John Candy character in the middle there. It's really good. But yes, I knew Runner brought it on last week, and I figured you was going to bring it on this week too, Tom. So
not impressed with the new special feature. I didn't think it was all that great.
I did not watch the special feature, so
The older stuff's pretty cool. You get some cool stuff, but I mean, it's never had a shit ton of things. Like, it has like the original feature length rough cut, which is really just like storyboards. It doesn't even have any audio. Unless you listen into it to the audio commentary. And then there's like a documentary, a deleted scene, and alternate framing story commentary, whatever that is. Probably for the TV version, I would assume. So they crap out like the boobs and shit or something.
It's true. Like Bill Barclay says, wait, doesn't Robert Meyer Burnett normally do a physical media show?
Yeah, he does sometimes on Sundays. I don't know if he's been doing it lately, but yeah.
I haven't. I think he did one a couple weeks ago, and I haven't seen it. But this is my show.
He's actually been on here before, hasn't he?
Yes, he has been on here. You can check it out. It's in the playlist, or you can check out the video where I clipped where he talks about
and it was
his movie. Oh my god, I just blinked on his movie.
Free Enterprise.
Yeah, Free Enterprise, which was really great.
Yeah.
That was a great story.
And that was one of the few days I could not make it, and you had R&B on.
That was a good night.
Because I wasn't there, right?
No, because he was there.
Yeah, he was there and I was not. And Rookie was there too.
Yeah, Rookie was there for a while. Yeah, but
it honestly would have been a longer stream if I was there. I'll be honest.
I've tried to get him back on here a couple times. It's hit or miss. Yeah, but
we gotta get Chris Gore on here sometime.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
But yeah, it's if you guys really had any hesitation about heavy metal, get it. Get the 4K. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's my final words on it.
Yeah, listen. If you have a Best Buy that has it, get
Best
it.
Buy. Listen.
Okay, listen. Like my nearby Best Buy doesn't have them anymore. You can't fucking get it.
You gotta get it quick.
Yeah, you gotta get it quick. It's a steelbook. I would get it immediately. Even if you've never seen it, just get it. Okay, and then watch it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Runner, what do you got for us? What's your second pick of tonight?
Heavy metal's also the type of movie that probably wouldn't come out today. So.
No, guaranteed.
No.
Oh fuck no.
No.
So yeah, definitely get it now.
The magazine ain't even the same anymore.
Yeah, they changed that
now.
They added.
I've been trying to look all around the internet. Like, is there a good place to get heavy metal comics? Because I've never heard of them before until
they're hard to get your hands on.
Yeah,
you're probably better off trying to find if they did. I don't know if they ever did a collection, or you can maybe get them digitally, most likely.
Okay.
But yeah, they were more of an underground comic, so it was you weren't able to find them in typical comic shops and shit.
Yeah.
If I remember right, you used to have to ask for them with the porn mags and shit underneath the counter. I remember because my cousin and stuff always have them and stuff like that. But I've only seen a few copies in my entire life.
Yeah,
because I tried researching online or looking up online.
Kevin Eastman of Ninja Turtles actually bought it a few years ago, and then I think he sold it again here 5-10 years ago. I can't remember now, but
because I tried looking online like where to get heavy metal comics, and there weren't a lot of I can't think of one option to get them anywhere online. So. Yeah, that's why
I mean, you could check with comic shops and stuff like that. Maybe somebody will have a run of them.
Yeah,
but I couldn't tell you the price you're looking at. That's the thing.
I mean, like the one comic shop near me, I doubt has any.
Yeah,
I can check with Gary, but he gets back to me once in a great while. He might know of somebody who might have something like that, or he could even have something himself. But
yeah,
maybe
Gary Nerdrotic. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't know he used to own a comic shop.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I did know that.
It's a joke, but yes.
I know. I know about the joke. I'm breaking the joke. That's the joke.
Yeah.
All right, Runner. What do you got for us for your second pick?
All right. This one is easily an 80s classic.
You're coming with me. That's an 80s classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different type of cop movie, actually.
I'm not arresting you anymore.
It's not Robocop. It's Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly
Oh, my man.
Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't get the face right, but I got the.
Somebody clip it
I
and
actually made a really
make a meme of him.
crappy ass cartoon back in the day. Like I had this thing like actually I should just show it to you guys while you're talking about this movie.
Go ahead.
Wait, HVP, does your comic shop have like card, like do they play card games and shit now and sell Funko Pops? Because that's what some comic shops do now. Because
they got to make their money somehow. Because the comics ain't selling.
Because there was one I went by like a few months ago, and it's like all it mostly is like collectibles. Yeah, there's some comics, some trade paperbacks, but then there's like a shit ton of Funko Pops. There's like another room where you just play card games, and it's like, fuck, man, this is fucking sad.
Dan Blackroyd, that is a great song. The Heat Is On. I'm a huge fan of the Eagles, and Glenn Frey was probably the best Eagle. The Heat Is On, and You Belong to the City was some of his greatest solo works. Those are awesome. But yeah, go on, Runner. If you didn't know, The Heat of Night is a song in Beverly Hills Cop there that you brought on.
I mean, I've only really seen it once, so I need to rewatch it. Actually,
it's good. I love it.
No, it is. It is really good. Oh yeah, his laugh cracks me the fuck up.
You need to tell him he get checked for Herpacil.
the strip club scene is fucking gold.
Yes, it is gold. It is.
Well, what did he say to what's his name? What's the young cop's name?
Rosewood.
Yeah, Rosewood.
Was that?
Yeah. Trust me, Tom knows. It's one of his favorite movies.
The older guy than Rosewoods is.
Rosewoods is the younger guy.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold.
Yeah. But I just love that picture of Jason right there, right from the start.
Oh Lord, yeah.
You would go to play it real quick.
The sound is horrible, so I made this like fucking 10 years ago, something. I don't know.
In the tradition of great 80s cartoons based on
his name's Billy.
Subject matter for children comes Beverly Hills Cop.
That's who I was talking about.
Ready to go solve a mystery, Mr. Giggles Butt?
Let's do it, Axel.
Axel!
It's Billy Rosewood, by the way.
Axel, did you put ink in my coffee again?
I don't know how ink got in your coffee again, Mr. Bogomil.
Sure you don't, Axel. How's that stolen bicycle case coming?
There's a lot of bikes in Beverly Hills, Captain Bogomil. Which one you looking for?
Dang-nabbit, Axel, you know what I'm talking about. Quit goofing around.
I'm supposed to be looking for stolen bikes?
Axel!
I'm sorry, Captain Bogomil. I'm just kidding.
Axel, your shenanigans are getting out of hand. We still haven't located that bubblegum truck from the heist last week that you stole and used and lost, got stolen again, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just fed up with you.
Don't worry, Captain Bogomil. I'll find them and I'll put a banana in the tailpipe.
Actually, your boss is
yeah, that audio was not great.
I know, Mr. Gigglebutt, but I'm not really doing my job like I'm supposed to. We really need to find those missing bikes, man.
Sorry about leaving the keys in the bubblegum truck.
They nailed the laugh.
Tom made that.
Yeah, I made that.
You made that?
Yeah. Well, you get the joke. It's like, they made a bunch of cartoons based on R-rated movies. Well, this was what Beverly Hills Cop would be like if it was I did another one was Die Hard, and instead of terrorists, he goes up against terrorizing monsters.
Which channel is this in? Is this in the Me channel?
No.
Which channel is it in?
I'm not telling.
Oh. Oh, it's that kind of channel.
It's an old channel that has a lot of my old crap on it. That's very embarrassing.
I want to watch it now.
And we did have a couple of questions here about part 4.
It's supposed to be coming.
It's supposed to come to Netflix, right?
Netflix got the rights to 4 and 5. Supposedly they're slowly but surely moving along on a.
Wait, they're doing a 4th movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. What is it being done by like Netflix or some shit?
That's what we just said. Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't sure.
Where you been, Runner?
I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry. No, I forgot that they announced that a while ago.
It's one of my favorite movies. So yeah,
it's really good.
And I still need to see 2 and 3. Like same with RoboCop.
Well, they're coming on 4K themselves. The French get it first.
See, Bogey gets it. Got to have a wacky Unreal Fantasy character. Yeah,
exactly.
The the second one's coming out on 4K.
Yeah, and the third one will be coming down soon, but they're both going to be released over in France first.
Fucking French, get them first, bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
Hey, Sean.
Happy Wednesday.
No, that's Beverly Hills Cop rocks.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I love part 3. It's not bad, but I did. It's all right. But part 1 and 2, man, there's great movies.
Beverly Hills Cop 3, like there's a DVD in like the place I work at, and that's like one of the few like DVDs that is like stored in the shelving area.
We actually learned from Austin Trunick, the author of the Canon Film Guide, that the movie Cobra was actually supposed to be a Beverly Hills Cop sequel that Stallone was writing, but
actually not a sequel. They were the same fucking movie.
Yeah, and
what happened go ahead. They originally wanted somebody like Eddie Murphy to be in Beverly Hills Cop, but at that time the studio wasn't hopped up on Eddie Murphy because he wasn't a big star yet. So they tried to get him to get anybody from Clint Eastwood to anybody like that, and they got Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
In, he wanted to change it to be more, like stuff he wanted to do. He wanted to change Axel's name to Axel Cobretti so he could call himself Cobra.
Right.
And his nickname would be the Motor City Cobra. And like the fact that Jenny Summers was going to be his love interest and all this other shit. The cast that's there was cast for Stallone's film. Like that's how close that movie got to be filming as Beverly Hills Cop with Sylvester Stallone. And then basically they went and made the script all more serious. Like a lot of basically all the shit that got changed is the shit that Sly went and took over to Cobra. Because once they realized that they didn't want to work together, that this just wasn't working out the way they wanted it to, then he's like, all right, well, do you mind if I just take my stuff? And they're like, no, please do, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They worked it out amicably, or however you want to put it. And he went over and made Cobra with his ideas, and then they got Eddie Murphy back. In the meantime, 48 Hours had come out, and Trading Places had come out. So they're like, okay, we think now the kid's ready for a starring role. So that's how it happened, because people forget how young Eddie Murphy was when he made Beverly Hills Cop. He was only like 17, 18 when he started on SNL, right? He was only like 19, 20 years old when he made 48 Hours. He's only like 22 or 23 years old when he made this movie. Like
I didn't know he was that.
He was born in 69. Yeah, he's not that old, right? I mean, people forget how young he was when he got started. I mean, he was a fucking kid.
Yeah. He always just had that presence.
But he just he was playing 30-year-olds for 10 fucking years, so like that just happened to him. Everybody's like, oh, he's got to be 30. No, he's only like 26, 27 when he makes Beverly Hills Cop 2 or 3, or like he's not that old, right? So like,
yeah, he looks like he's in his 30s in this movie. Yeah.
Well, him and Eddie Murphy had a fallout afterwards because Sylvester Stallone accused Eddie Murphy of fucking Brigitte
Nelson. You never know.
She ain't my type.
I wonder what things would turn out if Eddie Murphy actually played Winston in Ghostbusters.
That was close.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been
interesting.
That's who it was written for.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But instead, he went with Beverly Hills Cop, so they changed the character.
I think they both made the right decisions, though. I mean, it would have been something different, but Eddie Murphy made right because Beverly Hills Cop's awesome, and I couldn't see Winston being played by any other. Oh my God, I'm horrible with names tonight. What's his name?
Which one?
What is Winston's name?
Jesus Christ! No, I just forgot it.
I know my it's one blank on me.
He's
Ernie Hudson. Yes, Ernie Hudson is great.
Hudson, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he is really good. I wouldn't mind Eddie Murphy in that role though.
Eddie put a banana in it.
It would have been so different though, Runner, because like having Eddie in that role, they would have had to beef it up more.
I mean, yeah, I agree. My whole thing is like I'm curious to see what type
he
of
was supposed
film.
to be in Star Trek 4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to play a cop in it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know jack shit about Star Trek, so
but they cut it out since he didn't do it. But yeah.
I liked Cobra. Brian Barth and Marcus Abus Haskins. Cobra is a good movie. I like Cobra. I think it's a good movie. I don't think I've actually seen the extended cut though.
I haven't
know
seen
there
it.
was one.
I haven't seen it yet. I plan on getting Cobra from Shout.
Yeah, I got the Shout Factory.
It's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap still.
It is pretty cheap. That's why I plan on getting it.
Yeah.
Factory?
Let's go see. I was going to say, did it say on the Shout Factory one if it's extended? Because I didn't know there was extended.
I don't think so. I think it's just the theatrical version.
I don't think so, but I'll get it there anyway.
Crime is disease.
So,
and I'm speaking
so
in Shout Factory. I should have been RoboCop. It's this guy Robert Burke playing RoboCop in Part 3. Yeah. RoboCop 3. What can we say about this film? Yikes! It's like half a good movie.
It had a guy in a suit.
Robert Burke just cannot. He is not Peter Weller. No. And the reason why he did not return for this movie was they shot RoboCop 3 right after RoboCop 2 because Orion was going under. And they thought if we can get RoboCop 2 and 3 out, that will make us some money. RoboCop 2 did not do as well as they were hoping. So RoboCop 3 sat on a shelf for a couple years. So the reason Peter Weller didn't return was because they did not want to wait a few months for him to film. I believe it was Naked Lunch that came out at that time. So he's like, sorry, peace out. I'm signed on to this movie. I'm working with, I believe it was Cronenberg who made that movie, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, I'm going to work with David Cronenberg, and if you can't wait a few weeks, then sorry, kind of thing. And he didn't come back. And instead they brought in Robert Burke, who just sucks at it. I'm sorry, nothing personal against the actor. It's just he does not have what Peter Weller had and brought to that role. He doesn't have
the gravitas.
Because there's some great lines in Part 3. I will argue that RoboCop has some great, can you imagine if you had Peter Weller coming out and saying, no loitering? It would have been so much better than him. Because when Robert Burke says it sounds like a Saturday morning fucking cartoon. And that's the other problem this movie has, is that they pulled back on the rating because the second film didn't make so much money. And they were really pushing the toys and shit at that point, which were popular. The toys did sell well, and they had
I remember having them myself.
So they're like, okay, well, we need to make this one a little less violent and all that kind of crap. So all that kind of stuff creeped into it. And if you're curious what the original version of RoboCop 3 is supposed to be, you can find out. There's a way to find out, and that is by buying the graphic novel of Frank Miller's RoboCop, and it tells his version of 2 and 3. And 2 is almost exactly the same. 3, on the other hand, is quite a bit different. The things that are the same are the things that I like about Part 3. That is the rehabilitation stuff, Robo, getting involved with those guys, Omnicorp being bought out by the Chinese corporation and all that kind of stuff. All that's in there, and it's just a little bit more hardcore and, and stuff like that. And there's a few other different elements. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to check it out because it's pretty widely available, I believe. I can't remember the exact name of it or what it's called, but it's Frank Miller's RoboCop. It gets into the whole thing with Nuke and the stuff that's in the third film. So and but as far as the scan, it's the same fucking thing from MGM's old Blu-ray, unfortunately. So it's not the best looking film. There is some decent special features on here though, so roughly similar to the second film as far as special features. But you were going to say, I'm sorry, Greg.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of part 3.
Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with this one. It's like, because it's half a good movie, and then
I agree, it's half a good movie. It's a good movie, and I kind of always thought it sucked that I don't know if I should say it in case people have never seen it. About one of the main characters.
It's old enough.
Yeah, one of the main characters that's been in all of them, his partner, when she gets killed. Yeah, I was like, that eats at me because on one hand, I hated that they killed her off, and then they like turn her into a ghost. And then on the other hand, I think it's
not really a ghost, I would say.
Yeah, well, that's true. But then on one hand, it's like
the one bit where she's like, he keeps remembering, Murphy, it's you, and that's about
it. Yeah. Then on one hand, it's like it does feel logical that, giving his nature of who RoboCop is and the situations they get into, she was bound to get killed.
Well, they set that up actually, because
yeah,
she's going out and the other cop says, "Hey, you need some armor," and she's like, "No, I'm off duty," because she has no idea where Robo's going. And when they get there, they realize, oh, it's just these people that are looking for refuge in this church, because the rehabilitation program's uprooting people from their homes and putting them basically in these concentration camps in these apartments, because they're basically turning Detroit into how they live in Japan or whatever, into those big complexes and shit like that. You got 10-foot fucking space to live in and all that shit.
Yeah.
And they're taking the people who are the poor people in Detroit and moving them into these housing units. And so he realizes what's going on. And then you also have this really great character, Nico, I think her name is in the movie, where she's a little hacker. And she actually hacks an Ed 209. She gets into RoboCop and deletes the fourth objective, so he can actually get the rehabilitation officers, because since they're employees of OCP, he can't do anything to them. That's how come Lewis gets killed, because he can't defend her.
Right.
And there's some great stuff there, and just kind of the whole idea of what they're doing in the town and gentrification, all that kind of shit, or however you want to put it, and just how it's a lot. Like we were talking about, it's the next logical step for the story. But then what the problem is they tried to make it too kid friendly, and you have probably one of the most. I agree with that. In this one, if anything, outside of the nuke factor of the second film, this one required the R rating the most, because you have some of the more deepest kind of elements of RoboCop getting into right and wrong, right, and going against the company that built him and all this other kind of stuff that really is hit home in this film. And it really kind of brings the story of part 2 full circle, that shit they set up there that does pay off in this film. So as a third film, it does succeed in a lot of places, but it shaving off that edge and not letting it have as sharp a teeth. The commentary's gone a little bit. You got a lot of stuff that's just like, it feels kind of jumbled and messy, with like the cyborg coming from Japan and shit, with a ninja cyborg and all that shit was kind of like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, like, oh, man. Like that kind of stuff, I totally understand why people think it's dumb. And like I said, Robert Burke's performance is shit. But people don't got a lot against it. Like Fred Decker directed this thing and wrote it. Wrote off of Frank Miller's screenplay. He rewrote it. He tried to get Shane Black to rewrite it with him, but he couldn't. Shane Black actually has a cameo in this too. I don't know if you realize. So there is that whole connection. And the reason, because like this movie killed Fred Decker's career pretty much, because between this and Monster Squad not going anywhere, it was kind of like,
it's pretty funny too, because I watched that Monster Squad documentary, and he said Monster Squad is his favorite movie ever made, and it's also what happened with it. It hurt his career big time.
Yeah, and RoboCop 3 did not help.
And then going on.
Well, and it didn't help that Orion sat on it for 2 years almost, because it was filmed in 91 and sat on a shelf till 93. So that didn't help. The momentum of what momentum was there for RoboCop, it went away. Because the second film didn't do bad, but it cost that much more than the first movie. So it had that problem, the sequelitis of the 80s. Where it cost too much and only made like half of what the original did, so less return. And at that point, Orion was ready to go belly up, and a lot of people blame RoboCop 3 for that happening. And I found out recently that's not the case, really. I mean, it is, but it isn't. What killed Orion, what could have saved Orion, is they turned around and they sold Addams Family at the last minute to Paramount. And if they had hung on to Addams Family, that probably could have saved the company. The amount of money that movie made.
Yeah, because that was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, it was a really big hit.
They should have held on to that, man. I love that movie too. Addams Family's so good.
Because as far as I know, I think it was either already in the can or damn near finished shooting when they sold the rights to Paramount.
Oh, that's so stupid.
I didn't know this. That's how come I was always curious. I'm like, for years, I'm like, why is the Addams Family movie a Paramount film, but MGM owns the rights to Addams Family last I knew? Well, it actually wasn't MGM. It was Orion that owned the rights all these years. MGM still retains the rights from Orion, but they sold that movie. If they had not sold that movie, Orion would not have went belly up.
Yeah, probably. They would have made a pretty good profit on that.
I mean, they made a little bit off of selling the movie, but in comparison, it wasn't worth.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. Yeah. But that's interesting. That's cool. But yeah, I agree. I mean, there's moments in that RoboCop 3 where it's like, okay, I'm feeling this movie, and then, but for overall, it's just.
Well, HBP Amazon owns them now.
Yeah, Amazon.
They don't just own MGM; they own Orion as well. But there's some people are worried about RoboCop. Speaking of, because technically the rights are up. So
that's what I heard. I've heard the rights are up for RoboCop and something else. There was some other one. I can't remember the other one, but it was pretty big.
But yeah, so Ed Neumeyer and Mark Abram can go back and get their rights, or not Mark Abram. What's his name? Michael Miner, I think it is. Michael Miner. The two guys who wrote the original, that's who can possibly go back and get the rights now again. So that was a big question up in the air right now. So yeah.
And I agree, Dan Blackwood. The world does need a modern Orion and canon.
Absolutely.
Need some of those good old films like that
that's
again.
The thing. RoboCop is the most canon movie that canon never made.
Exactly. It feels like it could be in their canon.
Doesn't it? Like, I was thinking that the other time last week when I was watching RoboCop in 4K. I'm like, man, this is the most canon movie that canon never made.
Yeah, it does. It feels like it fits right in their catalog of like films, like Cyborg and all them right around there.
Well, and just it feels like Menachem is one of those guys who just wouldn't get some of the stuff. So like all the news breaks and stuff, and the stuff that because of the way that Verhoeven, he just didn't get some of this stuff. So we're getting his perspective on things, on certain things. Like to him, like that's where we get the whole like men and women showering together and shit. Because to him, that was, there was just certain things he didn't get when it came to Americanisms and colloquialisms and other things like that kind of play into the goofiness of RoboCop that aren't really meant to be there, but they're just there because it's Verhoeven. And if you watch Starship Troopers, it's the same thing. Yeah,
they're kind of just ripping that off.
But he I wish that too. So
yeah, he did. Well, duh. Actually, you just reminded me that he directed that. I totally forgot that he directed that movie.
Well, that's because Starship Troopers is his interpretation of the American military.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So that's why it's such a satire. It's how basically the rest of the world sees us. Basically.
I'm doing my part. Yeah, actually, I didn't even realize it.
Questions, just destroy.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish Blomkamp would have made his RoboCop, but to see an older Peter Weller back that would have been amazing.
And you could have done so much with that.
Projects.
Because that one dude, I can't remember his name, but the black guy who's the one OCP guy, he's still around. You could have made him the new CEO of OCP, right? Mm-hmm. And you could have just had, them find RoboCop in the cellar in some cryogenic freezer. And they're like, oh, well, it's been 30 years. Let's bring him out of retirement. That would have been a great fucking movie. You don't even have to acknowledge part 2 and 3. It don't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, they have Fred Decker talking on this Blu-ray, and he said, looking back, if he could have changed one thing on RoboCop 3, he would have had it ending with Anne coming out as a new RoboCop.
That would have been
interesting. I guess.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. And yes, the OCP logo does look a bit canon-like.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the Prime Directive. I've heard it was good though. The miniseries,
right? I can't remember who plays RoboCop, but they do a little bit better job than Burke. And then they got this other cop who ends up becoming a new RoboCop, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it works out all right. It's not horrible. They're on DVD, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look it up. And was that Peter Weller that came out with Sting on WCW?
It might have been.
I don't remember who was in the suit, but I remember watching that. Actually, seen that live.
A lot of time when they did promotional stuff, it was rarely him in the suit.
Yeah, but that was yeah.
Like there's even a thing on the RoboCop 2 Blu-ray where he's like hosting some Say No to Drugs thing, and it's got some other guy in the suit, and then it pans to him in the classroom. It's just Peter Weller's. So it's clearly not him in the suit. Don't even sound or look like him at all. It's like, yeah,
nice. But I'll have to give 3 a rewatch. But I don't know. I never was.
It's not.
I was never
great.
too big of a fan of it. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. But you know, once you start watching 1 and 2, and then you got to get to the third one.
Well, that's what I said. The bummer of it is there is a lot of stuff that's set up in part 2 because they were planning on shooting them, and they were written back to back. Frank Miller wrote 2 and 3 at the same time, and then just with everything that happened, they had Fred Decker rewrite it in the interim there, and just they made him change it to PG-13 and all that kind of crap. So.
Which sucks.
Honestly, I don't even remember if like the whole jetpack thing, that might not even be in Miller's version. That might have been something that Orion wanted him to add for a toy. It's hard to say.
Give him a jetpack, and then we could sell the toy as a variant.
I'm not kidding.
I believe it. I honestly believe it. So that's crazy. All right, I guess we'll move on to my next pick. Runner, are you back yet? Well, he's going to miss out on this one.
No, I'm here. I've been listening.
I don't even hate the jetpack either, by the way.
It's all right.
I've been listening the entire time because I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
RoboCop.
RoboCop 3.
RoboCop 3. I've never seen
it. Peace, officer. No loitering. Yeah, I just don't have got it. I can't. Part 3 did have a kick-ass trailer, though. You got to admit that. But anyway.
It did. Marcus wanted us to show, but I'm afraid I would get a claim for that one.
Oh yeah, they will.
Yeah. So, but check out the trailer after if you guys want to afterwards or whatever. But I'll go to my second pick. It was partially written by John Carpenter. It was one of his where he's wrote so many screenplays in his early years that got turned into a movie later on that he didn't get much say in. But it's actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it, and it's one of my Kino Lorber pickups lately. So that would be Black Moon Rising, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Linda Hamilton. Yes, this was a great movie. This was another movie I had not seen in so long, and I picked it up on the Kino Lorber sale. I dig it. It may not hold up in some aspects, but I think it's a pretty damn good movie. And Tommy Lee Jones and he plays a great part. And Linda Hamilton is awesome in this.
I felt it held up pretty well. I recently saw it for the first time in I don't know how many years. I used to have. Now this is one for you. Here's a boutique, not that really boutique, cheap ass VHS company that did very rarely anything. Star Maker. I used to have the old Star Maker VHS of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which would be those EP, just like Good Times and shit like that.
Yeah, where they extended play. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it holds up as well too. It's just the car was aggravating me because it looks so stupid. But I loved the movie. It was really good.
At the time, that was pretty awesome.
At the time, I could see it being really, really awesome, but it just looks so flat.
Well, Runner might dig it.
Yeah, Runner might. But if you don't know this,
I haven't seen it.
It's a really good movie. It's like a heist movie. These guys, and it's got a great cast too, because not only does it got Tommy Lee Jones and Linda Hamilton. The gimmick is the car. These guys create this super fast jet rocket car, and it gets stolen by this rich guy who's building these giant 2 towers, like fortress thing. He's super rich, and so Tommy Lee Jones is hired by this government to steal this information from this company, and he hides the information in the car. So he's got to get together the people that built the car and break into these towers, get the car back so he can get the information for the government to give back to them. and it was written by John Carpenter, but then a couple other people took it over because it was after it was sold. He never got into it. But it's got a great cast. It's got Bubba Smith from Police Academy. It's got Keenan Wynn. It's got Nick Cassavetes from The Wraith. Yeah, it's got William Sanderson. It's got the what's his name? Billy the Kid from Bill and Ted.
Oh yeah.
It's got Don Keith Oper from Critters
and stuff.
Yeah, it's got a great cast, and Lena Hamilton's pretty cool in this, and she's the one that steals the car because she's working for the rich guy, and then she ends up with Tommy Lee Jones because she's not really digging her life.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pure 80s cheese.
Oh yeah,
but it actually kind of holds up pretty good because, like I said, I had not seen it in good 20-30 years when I recently watched it. So
this was the first time I watched it in a long time myself, and other than I think it does hold up. I mean, there's a few parts here and there, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was really good to see it again, and I forgot, how cool it was. And it's got a really great video essay about John Carpenter on here as a special feature, which I did watch. That was really interesting to see that. So
I don't know if I watched that or not.
Since Black Moon Rising came out in '86.
Really?
Check it out again. It's worth the watch. I dug it.
Some young Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Yeah. And some young Linda Hamilton. And, I can't do a thing without you get to see boobs again. You get to see her boobs again. So it's a good one. Runner, I think you would dig this one. I really do.
I'll watch it at some point.
It's an action flick. It's Tommy Lee Jones is actually a pretty badass in this.
School ends in a few weeks, so I'll probably get to that stuff at some point.
It's just good. And what's his name plays the bad guy? Did we mention his name?
Probably not.
What is his name? I can't. Robert Vaughn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the bad guy. He plays a really great bad guy.
Superman 3.
Yeah, Superman 3 and the old spy show. I can't remember.
He was also in Magnificent 7.
Yep. B-movie boobies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need.
B-movie I watched half of that video. I gotta get
That's
to the
a good
rest
video.
of it.
I was upset because I thought maybe this is going to be a new show you were going to be doing. I'm like, fuck yes, I want to be a part of that.
I should start that show.
It's like B-movies and boobies. Yeah,
B-movies and boobies. We should do what we should start that. Find some time.
That would be amazing.
It was great.
Gotta have like a booby rating and stuff.
We should do that. Did like the one dude, Mike's Horror. If you're watching, he makes films. He's a subscriber. He told me about a movie he called Zombies versus Mardi Gras, and he said at one time, his movie held the record for the most boob shots in any movie.
Well, it doesn't even have to be a long show like this one. All we have to do is like every week, maybe one. We bring in one title,
just one like B movie, and just talk about it.
more boob shots than A Clockwork Orange.
So then that's basically like if you have however many people, then that's already enough titles. But yeah.
You could just have like
Orange doesn't have that much nudity in it, really.
I mean it's the most like nudity. I mean it's one of the. I'd say it's one of like few movies I've seen that had so much nudity in it. At least
I could tell you some movies. Matter of fact, one of the movies I actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll say this.
You've not seen a lot of movies, then, yeah.
Well, yeah, no shit. That's nothing new.
Clockwork Orange only really has like 3 scenes of nudity in it.
There's more than that.
There's the rape scene in the beginning.
Yeah.
There's the scene where he has sex with the girls. And then there's the scene where they break into the house where the wife gets her suit cut up and all that stuff. After that, I think there's just the flashes when he's in with his eyes pried open. I don't think there's any more nudity after that, is there? Male nudity. You get to see his wiener, I think, in that one shot. But
they kind of cover it up, though.
I can see you thinking that just because it's so intense what there is.
Yeah, that's probably why. I don't know if
because the 2 of the 3 times it's during those intense assault scenes. So not to use the word again, but like
no. I think that's why. Like
because they are pretty jarring scenes. Like
because I could have I could have.
Unless I'm wrong, somebody remind me. Those are the only 3 scenes I can think of that have nudity.
There was a nude scene in the very last shot of the movie. I remember that.
When he's thinking of all that stuff that's flashing, that could be, like I said, there could be some in the flashing of stuff. I know there is during the video when he's telling him shut it off and all that kind of shit. And
no, because when you said like 3, I'm just like, I could have sworn I've seen at least like 6.
Yeah, like Bogey said, it's just so intense and clockwork and so memorable that
that's probably why. Maybe that's what they were trying to get at with the whole movie. It's like they make you feel like there's more nudity than you think.
Yeah,
it's very visceral, so like it does stick with you more, that's for sure. Yeah,
because I'll say this, at the time it was probably the most nudity I've seen.
Because Eyes Wide Shut has more, and there's a lot of other movies.
I haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut yet.
It's like one of the movies I'm bringing tonight's got way more nudity.
Not even to get into like Skinamax movies and shit for that, and titty comedies.
We need to figure out a day. Maybe we'll figure out that day.
Friday the 13th Part 5 was rated X the first time out, not because it was the only time when the Friday the 13th movies didn't get an X for the violence. It was because of all the nudity.
Yeah, when Voorhees chick, man, she had a nice rack.
Oh, the one that gets stabbed through the eyes.
Voorhees, yeah, her last name was actually Voorhees. So
yeah, she had nice tits. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we'll figure that out. We'll figure out a day or time to make it like maybe an hour-long show. We'll just talk about B movie
director to make a Friday the 13th movie.
That's what happens. True. Maybe we'll figure something out. We'll do a B movies and boobies show. Live show for about an hour, just talk one B movie with lots of boobies.
Or like I said, at least each person brings in a movie to talk about that.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure that out.
That way you give us homework to do and we have to watch it. So,
yeah. Well, you know what we could do? Just sign up to Full Moon Features. There's like 100 of them on there.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah,
I probably have most of them on Blu-ray anyway, but
yeah. But where was we? Oh yeah, Black Moon Rising. Check out Black Moon Rising. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. Doesn't it have I'm trying to remember. Isn't the music kind of cool in that too? Who did the music?
Yeah, it's got like a synth style music to it with like rock, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
It's been like half a year since I watched it. I got that in one of the earlier Kino sales.
I that last Kino sale I saw it, and I was like, I really need to get that. Boom, I got it. And I still got some more Kinos to get through, so I'll be bringing some more on because
I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel now with Kino. You saw my thing. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the sale now. Like, that's literally me scraping the bottom of like the ones that I missed and just like, maybe I'll give it a shot for $12, kind of thing. Yeah.
I want to get the I do want to get the Night Gallery shows, and I also want to get what's his name? Darren McGavin, his movies and his shows I've been meaning to get from them. What was that show he did? Kolchak. I want to get the Kolchak series.
Yeah, I got that one show with what's his face, Lee Van Cleef or whatever in my basket. Now, it was the samurai or whatever.
Yeah,
the ninja guy. I can't remember the master, whatever it was called. I can't remember.
I've seen that. I've never seen that one before. So
it's a TV show. I know that.
Oh, was it?
I just grabbed it because I think it had something to do with it. Inspired part of Bill's character in Kill Bill or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'll check that out. But yeah, that's it. Check it out if you're not seeing it. And Runner, what do you got for us for your third pick of the night? Runner.
All right, my third pick is a sequel to basically 3 movies. There is no 4th movie to this franchise.
That is confusing as shit.
Well, it's less confusing when I show this pick.
That would be called a trilogy, Runner.
Well, no, it's technically not a trilogy in my opinion, considering when the last movie came out.
We got 3 movies, but they don't have a 4th one.
3
Ghostbusters 2.
Not a 4th one.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm like Tom. How do you not know what I'm fucking talking
mind
about?
If I put him down? Sure. No. Go ahead. You're smelly. You're ugly. And you're a poor burden on your mother.
But yeah, I finally got
to run some gynecologist tests on the mother. Who wouldn't?
Bill Murray's fucking awesome.
I finally got the sequel to.
You're not sleeping with it, are you, Ray?
And the face he makes when he looks at him.
Because for a while I only had the first one because I got it on Black Friday for pretty cheap. But
yeah,
I could never find Ghostbusters 2.
Should have patted her feet. I don't know if she can take the shot.
So I had to buy it online.
Nikes in her size, Ray.
So yeah, I had to buy it online. But
well, those have been pretty cheap lately. So
yeah, it has been pretty cheap. That's why I bought it. But I don't watch the second one nearly as much as the first. That's why I don't know the quotes nearly.
Yeah, I know. You're a weird character. Where do you come from anyway? The Upper West Side.
That's so classic.
So yeah, three movies, not 4.
But soon, guys, were the Ghostbusters.
A fourth movie wasn't announced. So
let's ask here: do you like part 2?
Oh,
I know part 2 gets a lot of hate. I love part 2.
It's almost as quotable as the first movie.
It is.
It's just not as
really a lawyer.
It's not as memorable.
The world will end.
Mostly working probate and taxes, and I got my license at night school. That's okay, Lewis. We got arrested at night.
You know what? I gotta tell you something. I got a story.
You don't want us exposing ourselves, do you? Yeah, that's like that restrangement order, that blue thing I got from her.
No, I do like part 2. The weird thing about it though is Ghostbusters 2 was the first Ghostbusters movie I've seen.
Really?
And
that happens a lot.
And then I saw 1 because for some goddamn reason I thought 2 was 1. Okay.
That happens.
Yeah. So I thought 2 was 1. And then
was it on TV or something? Then I don't know.
Yeah, it was on cable.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on cable. So then because it was weird while I was watching it, I was like confused because I was told that it had a Stay Puft Marshmallow guy, and then I'm like, where the fuck was the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy? He wasn't in the movie. So then I watched and then I come to realize I actually watched the second one, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Why is the Titanic in the movie?
Titanic just arrived.
Like, why the fuck is there a moving Statue of Liberty? Like I was like that. That's what I was.
I think she's naked under that toga. She is French, you know.
Oh, it's you! Wow, I didn't know you had your license.
It's such a good movie.
I got stuck in an elevator all night, and I had to make the whole time.
No, but I do.
Teach the scene.
I'm definitely on the camp where I do like the sequel more than most people.
Vigo. I see what the problem is. He has Carpathian kitten envy. Let's just give him a kitten right here. No, Dr. Venkman. There are slides available in the gift shop.
I can sort of see why some people aren't into the second one, but I do. The first one will always be the best in my opinion.
It's like Tom explained to us one time. It's like the first movie is technically a horror film.
It was shot like a horror film. There's a difference.
It's got good horror elements and it's comedy. It's actually and then the second one they get a little more comedic.
It's a cartoon. It's a
cartoon like that, like Tom was explaining. So
it kind of gets the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles treatment, where the first one is like it was shot like it was a darker movie, and then the second one just feels more like a cartoon.
Yeah.
The scourge of Carpathia, Mondovia. I command you. Command me, Lord.
Giannis.
I love Giannis.
I know Giannis. Excuse me.
That's probably why I like That's probably why I like the first one more, is because it was shot more like a horror film, and then the other one just feels a little too kiddie. But that's just. But I still like it.
No, I do. I love you. Hey, I love you too. Oh,
hey guys, come here. Look at this.
You are like the buzzing of flies to him.
Yeah, there you go. Runner's just like, I don't get it.
I don't remember the quotes as much in the second one.
Oh yeah.
I really don't. Like I know them more in the first one just because I've seen the first one a lot more.
Yeah.
Like the second one, as much as I like it, it's not nearly as rewatchable.
When you meet an alien, you hope it's like E.T. or Starman, but no, instead it turns out to be some weird lizard.
Like I think the last time
hairless cats.
The last time I watched Ghostbusters 2, I think was like a day before I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife.
But your book doesn't even come out in softcover till next year. I mean, New Year's Eve.
Is Tom just going to quote this movie?
Oh, I know this whole movie. I saw this movie in the theater, man.
Runner, have you never been on this show before?
No,
Tom, I love when Tom starts quoting the movies. That's why I just sit back and laugh because it's awesome.
I'm a voter. Aren't you supposed to lie to me and kiss my butt?
Greg, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Man, I get you.
I'm just saying, like the whole entire time while I'm talking about something, while I'm like actually talking, Tom is just quoting the whole damn movie. It's like
the Ghostbusters. That's gonna be a little difficult, sir. Why? I kind of had them committed. You what?
You know what? We should just clip all these quotes and you basically just get the whole movie for free.
You're fired. Somebody get me the Ghostbusters. The walls in the 5th precinct were bleeding.
But Runner, yeah, you like the second one though, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I get you why you like the first one, and most people like the first one more than the second one. Yeah, I personally, once again, like we talked about RoboCop, I personally never knew there was hate for part 2 till I got older.
I mean,
which surprises me all the time because I'm like, people hate it. RoboCop 2, people hate it. Ghostbusters 2, they don't like these movies.
I remember when Ghostbusters 2 came out, like my older cousins, they were all like, "Yeah, it was shit." I'm like, "What do you mean it was shit? It was Ghostbusters 2. Like, it's the same movie as the first one." And at the time, I didn't understand what they meant.
Not really.
It is, but it isn't. Like, there's too many parts. Like, I get where they were coming from, and I get where the critics of the film come from. There are story elements and beats that you literally have them, not Ghostbusters in the beginning, so they can become Ghostbusters again. You have the Lady Liberty in the place of the Marshmallow Man, so you have some big thing, walking through town. There's just little beats and pieces here and there to just try and remind you that, hey, this is a Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And I know there's some
things they avoided in the newer film that I kind of liked.
There's some people who even prefer the second one over the first. Like I know Angela.
There are some weird people like that.
Yeah,
but
Angela Straven is one of them.
I will say the one trope that this one has that I really hate that they do in a lot of movies, especially sequels, is when they start off and the couple that got together in the last movie all of a sudden are no longer together.
Another trope, yes.
Yeah, I hate that trope where they're broken up again, and then he's got to
back together. Yeah,
get them back together just like he did in the first movie. I just can't stand that trope, but I mean, I still like Ghostbusters 2. I never had a problem with it.
Well, I guess considering it came out in '89, what other movies?
Oh, 89, it came up against Batman.
Well, no, I'm not talking about like what movies like were up against it. I'm talking about like which sequels before that movie came out did the whole they broke up in the beginning and
tons of
movies like the Romancing the Stone movies.
Yeah,
they did that
because I can't think of any at the moment for some fucking reason.
The Romancing the Stones, the Ghostbusters.
Except for Ghostbusters.
Well, one of the modern day ones is the National Treasure movies.
Oh yeah, Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic World did it.
Yeah, well, that's after.
It kind of became more of a trope in the 90s and 2000s, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Jurassic World did the.
I mean, like in the 80s, it was kind of fresh. So, like when they did it in Ghostbusters 2, it wasn't really a trope thing. but now it's become a trope and it's really annoying.
Yeah,
it was confusing as fuck though.
That's kind of my question.
There was a lot of people confused because of Bill Murray having the baby. There's people like, well, wait a minute, is that Bill Murray's baby, or like, you know, like the whole thing, like it was kind of confusing, and
And I mean, I think I remember Tom talking about like some like Ghostbusters movie that was kind of in the works where Oscar was like an adult or something.
Yeah, there's been tons of them over the years. Yeah. First of all, you had the cartoon Extreme Ghostbusters is loosely based on an original idea that was going to happen, but the death of Chris Farley pretty much put an end to that one. And then you had other versions that came down the road, and eventually they were planning on doing one where Oscar would be an adult and one of the new Ghostbuster recruits. But that didn't happen either. Yeah. I think that was one of the last scripts that got killed before they decided to go with the remake.
That makes sense. I had been hearing that too for years, that they were going to do that in that script. But
and like Chris Pratt was going to be a part of that.
There was or
there were rumors of it.
There was that they were going to do another version of, like, when they were doing the remake of Ghostbusters, they had this idea. That's why they created Ghost Corps. They were going to create like a bunch of different Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. So they were also going to have a group of guys and some other ones, and Chris Pratt and I think Jonah Hill and some other people were supposed to be a part of that. And
Tatum Channing, I believe, was.
But then at that point, a lot of people are like, Chris Pratt would be perfect to play an adult Oscar.
I would have loved to see that, man. That would have been great. I kind of disagree, Dan Blackroyd. I think he looks fine.
He could have been a little old.
I don't think he looks that old, honestly.
No, it is just depending on the time when that movie was going to be made.
No, I know. Like, I mean, time is important and all that. I just think I think he would fit pretty. It would be interesting to see him in a Ghostbusters movie. You know what I mean?
It would have been. I
wouldn't mind Jonah Hill, even though I don't think he was funnier when he was younger and fat.
He has changed a lot. Yeah, I think he's mellowed out a lot.
No, he lost a shit ton of weight recently.
Oh yeah, I know he did.
Like he's been taking like karate classes and shit. It's like, you know, good for you, but he was so much funnier back in like his like super bad days and all that.
I did not know there was. Apparently the Ghostbusters VR is going to be about a new team of Ghostbusters setting up shop in San Francisco.
I mean,
that's a bad place.
I mean, they announced a Ghostbusters game that I think is a sequel to Afterlife, which is kind of weird because it's like now they're developing a new movie as well, so it's a little confusing.
We'll have to see how that plays out.
Tied in together, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah. If it's tied in together, that's cool because the game, if you've seen the trailer, it's basically like Winston reopens back up, you know, the Ghostbusters building and all that. It's basically where it leaves off in.
Well, I think that's where the sequel is going to pick up. We got to remember this: the last movie was shot a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
so these kids are going to be.
Yeah, I know.
They're already
yeah, like what's her name? The Phoebe.
McKenna Grace. She's like
McKenna Grace. She's way older than
17 years old now, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she goes to like high school now or some shit.
Yeah.
Because she looked way younger in Afterlife.
Yeah, Hellbent would have been fun to see, but I guess a lot of those ideas wound up in the Ghostbuster game. So.
Yeah, they say that the game is considered the third movie. So.
I still haven't played that game, and I want to.
It's all right. I mean,
I've seen clips of it. It looks good.
I was gonna say I didn't really care for the gameplay so much. I got kind of annoying with it, but hopefully the newer game fixed some of that. But
you
can just watch the cutscenes online. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do plan on getting the game, like the Ghostbusters video game on like PS4.
The story's good, but Bill Murray's just phones it in. Like his performance is one of the worst. It's just
I mean, isn't the newest game coming out gonna like have like an online like busting ghosts with friends? I hope that happens. That would be fucking fantastic. And maybe Greg will start playing. Maybe Greg will start playing video games when the new Ghostbusters comes out.
I wouldn't count on it. I don't even have I have an Xbox 360 as my last system, so I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, well, get a PS4 or some shit.
I probably not. I'll probably just buy more movies.
You're
saying.
You're a disappointment. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm an old man. I'm almost.
Hey,
I'm getting old here, man.
Fuck that bullshit. Fuck that bullshit. Don't say that.
It is. I'm just being honest with you. I probably won't be playing games. I'll probably just be buying more movies. That's just the truth.
No, it's fine. I'm just fucking with you.
I ain't got time.
I know, man.
Games.
I ain't got time.
Shredder's Revenge is coming out soon too. That looks awesome.
Yeah. If I find time to play that.
But let's see what Tom's got. What do you got, Tom, for your?
I got one more in this vein. I watched the Robocop remake again.
The remake. You know, I have that, and I have never watched it.
I'm gonna say
I never watched it either.
People are not going to expect me to say. It's not one of the worst remakes ever. It's actually pretty good. It had a lot of great ideas. Now, it could have been a great remake. Instead, it's just a decent remake. It still flounders in some areas, but overall, I do like what they did with it. It sticks close enough with the original idea. It does a good job of upgrading things. It's missing a little bit of that tongue-in-cheek nature of the original film. That's probably one of my complaints. Other than that, I mean, there's really... when I watched it this second time, I'm sitting there going, you know what? There isn't a whole lot that I would change if I was going to remake RoboCop. Like, there's a lot of this that I would have done myself. So... of all the remakes that came out, and as much as I adore the original RoboCop, it pains me to say this is not the worst remake ever, and I kind of recommend it. I kind of like the things they did with it and the areas they went through and explored, and just the idea of the advancements that we know in cyber technology and all that stuff like that, and just the way it worked out. And my only real complaints is like I hate that they don't really utilize Ed 209. There's a couple of scenes I would have liked to have seen, in the remake that were in the original that aren't here. I do like that they allow the family to have a little bit more of a story here, which makes more sense. It's kind of a little bit of a reversal on the role of the original film, because it's like, in the original film, he's a man who becomes a robot and then has to find his humanity. They kind of have him. He's a robot who thinks he's a human, who gets that all taken away and then refines his humanity. It still comes out, kind of thing. It's very similar in that respect, but yeah, it's not as good as the original, but it's definitely, as far as the remakes go, especially of that era, it's probably the best one of that era. Like,
really,
in spite of itself, it shouldn't have been, but at that point you're like, there was no talk of a Blomkamp sequel, or Peter Weller was never going to come back. Half the cast is dead. I mean,
it's true.
Well, if you and it lends itself so well. The saddest part, and I'm going to say it, the saddest part is we did not get a sequel.
Really? See, I've had it for a long time. I have just never ever watched it because I really love the first movie, and I'm not too into too many remakes.
I usually am
not that they can't be done. So I'll give it a watch.
No, there are some decent remakes.
Joel Kinnaman's really good in the Murphy role.
I like Joe Kinnaman. I think he's a good actor.
Samuel Jackson and
he's
Michael
a really good
are
actor.
really good in it. You've got Jackie Earl Haley's great in it.
Oh, he's in it? I didn't know he was in it.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
And then you got
he's good in a lot of things.
Who's that kid? What's his name? We were just talking about
from I remember him.
Jake Bernthal. He's pretty good in it because he doesn't do a whole lot of shit either.
Jay Bernthal?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Burkall, not Bernthal.
Okay.
He's a comedian. Yeah, he's in like The End of the World, and he hangs out a lot with like those guys, like
you're talking about This Is the
Rogen,
End?
Or This Is the End, yeah. He hangs out with like Seth Rogen and all those guys and shit. But he doesn't do a lot of movies. He does a lot of writing, but he doesn't do a lot of movies.
He was in This Is the End. Like he had a starring
Yeah,
role in it?
he plays himself. He's the guy they pick up at the airport.
I don't remember him. I've only seen that movie once though.
He's like the straightest of the guys in the movie.
Yeah.
However you say his name, Burchell or
Burchell. Yeah.
Oh, he's in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he's in that too.
Yeah, he's in that. There you go.
That dude. Oh,
I was gonna say
he
doesn't do a lot of movies. He's not like those guys, but he does a lot more writing and behind the scenes type stuff.
He has
he made the Dune.
That dude has a very distinct voice. Like if you hear his voice,
kind of reminds me of you, Runner.
Really?
A little bit. I see it. I get it.
Maybe
he's that boyish charm like you do.
Maybe
I'd take that as a compliment, man.
Yeah. No, I wasn't sure.
He's really good in RoboCop. I mean,
I wasn't sure where Tom was going with that.
That's the thing. Like all the performances in this are really good. You got Michael K. Williams in this too, who I think just recently passed, if I'm not mistaken. Which is funny because not only do we actually get a gender swap.
Oh, really?
Race swap. Yeah, Lewis is played by Michael K. Williams. So it's a black guy instead of a chick in this one.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the chief is actually a woman in this one too, which actually she's decent though. Like the whole cast is great. Like it's a really tough to hate this movie. That's the shittiest part about it.
I'll have to watch it. I've always been hesitant of it, and like you said, a lot of those remakes around that time were just.
Ed 209's the only character who really gets the shaft. I'll be honest with you. And they don't have the exact same bad guy, but the bad guy they do have in this is pretty good, right? So again, it has this element of it that it's like it shouldn't work. It just shouldn't fucking work, but it does. And it has so many great little elements that you don't want to like even if you don't want to like it, but you just get into it and you're like, yeah, that's probably what would it be like now. Like this, it feels like a properly updated RoboCop. It makes sense.
Check it out.
You know what's funny? I have another story. It's nothing special really, but like I saw like there were like commercials and trailers and shit back when I watched like cartoons when I was much younger, and the RoboCop remake would come up, and I remember seeing the trailer. I'm just like, this looks fucking kick ass. Like I remember saying that, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to see this movie, but later on, I found out that it was a remake, and I didn't know there was an original.
Oh god, and I totally forgot Gary Oldman, who's like the best part in the movie.
Gary Oldman's in. Yeah, I knew Jay Baruchel and Samuel L. Jackson and Kinnaman was in it, but I didn't know some of the other people.
Gary Oldman plays the doctor in it. That's a brand new character, and he's the best part. Between him and Keaton have some of the best scenes together.
Oh yeah, that's right. Michael Keaton's in it too.
Michael Keaton. Oh my god, that's a damn good fucking cast.
The cast is good, but I was always hesitant to watch it because I really do love that first RoboCop movie. It's really, I mean, you've seen some of the clips I use on here.
You just gotta kind of get yourself in the mindset that it's not the same tone, right? It's a completely different tone. It's not this. It doesn't have the biting satire element to it. There's some laughs in it, and there's some moments here and there where you get a chuckle. They definitely try to play up the, they do throw in there like I wouldn't buy that for $1 is what they actually say, but they have their little moments, and they even have like a little thing when they're bringing up possible designs. They have like the old school design, and I can't remember what Keaton says to it, but he's like, no, like kind of thing. And it has these little bits and pieces here for the fans. It's all in there. They did a great job with it. There's a few things I might have done differently, but outside of that, of all the remakes, especially of that era, this is definitely the best one. And I gave it a second chance again, because the first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. And I just kind of threw it to the side, because I'm just like, I just didn't want to even acknowledge that existed for so long. And it just kind of got to this point, especially when I knew we weren't getting,
the Blomkamp
one. It's like, all right. And then after watching the first 3 movies again, I'm like, fuck it, I'll dust it off. I literally had to dust it off.
It's literally been on my shelf for about 2 years. Well, I've never watched it.
Dust from like 2 moves, but yeah.
I'll probably watch that at some point, because when I was younger, I remember seeing trailers for it when it was coming out and the marketing and stuff, and I was like, this movie looks awesome. I was like, that suit is badass and all that, like, but I didn't know it was a remake.
It's one of the good ones.
I'll definitely have to check it because I just been really hesitant. But usually Tom, usually me and Tom are pretty close there. So
yeah, what's fun? What's funny? Like I've like sometime like recently, I think I told my mom that there was a RoboCop remake, and she had no idea. She was like, "What? Why would they remake RoboCop?" I'm like,
MGM was desperate for money.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, probably money. And then he's like, yeah, I know, but they shouldn't make a remake of RoboCop, which is already a good movie. It's like, I agree with you. RoboCop's a great
movie. I think
Sony
was behind this a little bit more because they actually bought into it for this one. And
oh, really?
They did this at the same time they did like Total Recall and all that other shit. So this is that era.
Oh, okay.
So it's before the woke times.
Well, before the woke times.
It's during the We Can Do Better era, which this is the only time they kind of managed.
Was the Total Recall remake good?
It was so bad it had a Total Recall.
Yeah, it was bad.
They recalled it. It was that bad.
I couldn't even finish it.
Because I'm not sure what people thought of it. I only watched like a little bit of the original one. I own it on 4K, but
the remake is trash. Do not waste your time.
Yeah, the remake is really bad. That is one I could not even finish. I didn't even bother with it. Done. So the Arnold Schwarzenegger one is 100 times better.
No, there's nothing in that new. It has none of the charm or anything like this. Like this RoboCop, like I said, despite itself. The this is RoboCop remake's better than the Poltergeist remake, but I had to admit that the Poltergeist remake wasn't horrible. It was just pointless.
It was kind of pointless. I mean, I didn't mind it.
Nothing new.
I didn't hate it.
They brought nothing new to the table, and I'm sitting here.
And actually, they scaled back on some stuff.
They did because I'm like sitting here going, they had that little part with the cell phone and some other things. I'm like, you had a lot more shit you could have played with here with this remake, and you didn't. That's bad. That they kind of let that opportunity go. They didn't seem to let that opportunity go with RoboCop, though. Again, that's another MGM. This was when MGM was desperate to try and cash in on all of their franchises. They remade.
Portland Rogue says Sony owned MGM for a bit. So
did they own them or did they just have like a deal with them? I can't remember now.
Don't know.
I can't remember.
But I'll definitely have to check.
And that is when the RoboCop remake came out. Yes, and that's also when I believe they made the Total Recall and some other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to check it out. Like I said, it's been sitting on my shelf for like 2 years. I've never watched it, so maybe I'll give it a watch this weekend. What's up, Tim Hayes?
Hey, Tim.
Welcome.
What's up, Tim?
So yeah, I'll give it a watch. I'd never. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see, Tom. I'll let you know.
Unnecessary as fuck. Like, I mean, RoboCop and Total Recall, I can understand. Poltergeist is just like, no. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Shit's cursed.
Yeah, don't mess with that one. But yeah, I can see why you. Yeah, the Crow.
Don't need a new one. Just leave it alone.
No, we don't need it. I really wish they would leave that alone. They kept sequeling it out to it. It got crappier and crappier, and we don't need a remake.
And not only that, nobody's ever going to be Carol Ann other than Heather O'Rourke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, you can't top that. They're here. But I guess we'll move on to me. And I guarantee you this movie, Runner, you've never seen. Tom, I don't know.
When will you ever show a movie that I've seen before?
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
We don't do this on Tuesday. That's the joke.
No.
I know. That's funny.
But this is one I got from Vinegar Syndrome a while back, and I finally got a chance to watch it. I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, it's called Alley Cat.
Oh, I don't have that one.
From 1984, and this is one from their video store type of thing. Where it comes out the bottom, like that. So this movie is all kinds of crazy. I enjoyed it. It feels more like a late 70s exploitation film than it does an 80s film, and it was made in 1984. This movie it's a revenge flick, right? Okay, so there's this chick, she's a martial artist. She stops these guys from stealing the tires off her car. She beats the crap out of them, so they go back to their the guy, that they work for and everything. And they tell him what happened. So he comes in and he ends up killing her grandma and beating up her grandfather. And so she's out for revenge. She's a badass martial artist, and she goes after him and she falls in love with a cop. And then like halfway through this movie, it turns into a woman in prison movie. And then it goes back to being a revenge flick, and it's got lots and lots of boobs. Lots of lower extremity bush part 2. Nice. It's just, I really enjoyed this movie. It's just really cheesy, really bad acting, grainy. Well, it looks really good. Vinegar Syndrome really cleaned it up, but it's got that graininess, film feel to it. And yeah, I was glad I got this. I'd been sitting around for a while, and I finally got a chance to watch it, and it's pretty good. And the fight scenes are so bad because, like, you could tell when she's not the one actually doing the karate, because, like, they show her from behind and the dude's just stand there for like 10 seconds before she kicks him. So it's got that. It's funny. It's great. I dug it. Greetings, Cosmic Squirrel. Glad you made it here tonight.
He dug
But
it.
yeah, I'd give this one a good score. If you have not seen it, check it out. And
I don't think I've even heard of it. Who's in it?
Let's see here. Starring Karen Manny, Robert Toretti, Britt Helfer, and Michael Wayne. Yeah,
Michael Wayne sounds familiar. Other than that, no one do.
Robert Toretti, if you've seen him, he's been in a few things. But yeah, the chick in this is super hot. I don't know if you can see.
I bet she is.
Let me see.
You're like 8-bit, Greg.
Oh, is my camera? Let me see.
That, or you're probably only on.
Or my internet. Any better?
I don't. It might just be your camera.
Is it any better? Am I still blurry?
What's your camera set at in your settings? You got to turn it up at 720p. Yeah.
That's what it's on.
Oh, is it? Okay, then it's just your camera.
Yeah, then it's my internet then. But anyway, the chick in this is super hot. She's Latino. Latina. Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry. Misgendered.
Yeah, cancel Greg.
She's super hot. She gets completely naked several times.
Nice.
She's badass, actually. She really is. This is the type of female character that you want to root for.
Badass new.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a good cheesy 80s flick that feels more like a 70s exploitation flick that goes from revenge flick to woman in prison flick to revenge flick. So, if you get a chance, watch it. It's
fun.
Yeah, it's a good. It's only like 83 minutes long too, so it's a good quick watch. Yeah. So, I mean, with a movie like that, you don't need a whole lot to it. But that I figured nobody's seen that tonight.
Runner can only jerk off so many times in 80 minutes.
God damn
it. That reminds me, I was going to clip that from that video I just did from the B Movies and Boobies with Leanna Quigley, where she goes, "I know what you're doing when you're watching my movies. How many calories do you think that burns?" I was going to clip that, put that on here.
Go ahead. Just put that with what I just said, and that'll be perfect.
Exactly. That
you only jerk off how many times in 80 minutes? I mean,
but yeah, it's like a really cheesy, really bad acting. The chick is hot.
God's joke. He built women to where they're just ready to go right away. Men, on the other hand, is like, I need a break for about 2 hours, maybe an hour. No, I have to check that one out. I'm really picky and choosy with Vinegar Syndrome because they do great shit, but they're pricey, so you got to kind of.
Yeah, I'm looking at their stuff right now.
That was one of the ones I got for. That was one of the ones I got for free.
They got some classics in there.
You got it for free? How?
Yeah, I got it for free.
Was that the ones that you won that deal?
Yeah, that was like I won their.
Which was cool. You don't remember that, Ronnie?
Yeah,
when you won the Vinegar Syndrome.
I won like 8 movies from Vinegar Syndrome, and I haven't got to all of them yet.
$300 worth of movies right there. Probably.
Yeah, it's like $300, man.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I won through their Instagram.
He just signed up for their Instagram thing. I think I did too. I just didn't win. I was like, holy shit! I finally know somebody who won something.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got Scanner Cop 1 and 2 on 4K. I got Nightmare Sisters, which I'm so glad I got that. I got the samurai, the 6-string samurai. Can't speak.
That's
on
like
4K.
$40 just by itself.
Yeah, that was one I was like super glad to get. I got it's called the Cardona collection, which I haven't watched. I probably won't, to be honest with you, because it's like 3 or 4 cannibal movies, like Cannibal Holocaust, and I'm not too big into those. Then I got Alley Cat, which I'm really glad I got because I actually really liked it. I didn't think it would, but it was really good.
Yeah, but you know what? You hang on those ones you don't want to watch for a while, and then
definitely keep
them.
them.
And you sell them on eBay for like 3 times what
Yeah.
they actually were.
Yeah. Good night, Brian Bart. Thank you for all your questions. I always enjoy them. Have a good night, man. And then and then I got it's called the TV set. It's 3 television movies from the late 70s, early 80s. With some really great actors in it. I just haven't got to. Which I'll probably bring on when I actually get to them.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I was glad to get Alley Cat. I was surprised by it. It was a fun movie. It was a fun watch. I mean, it's not the best. You trust me, you could see a movie 10 times better than that because it's cheesy, bad acting, but it's just one of those fun, cheesy, bad acting movies to watch.
I may have a Vinegar Syndrome title coming up tonight too.
Ooh, interesting. So we've been going for 2 hours here. Let's go, Runner. What do you got?
All right, is this the last pick?
I got 2 more, 3,
yeah,
2 more.
More.
I mean, I have 2 more too.
I got 2 more too.
Yeah, we got 2 more.
All right. So this one, I think we've all seen this one. It's a movie directed by Christopher Nolan. It's a space movie.
Oh, how'd I know it?
Matthew McConaughey's in it. Yes.
Damn it.
Interstellar.
I'm tell you something. I didn't like Interstellar.
I liked it until the end. The fucking end pissed me off.
That's fine. I understand why people don't like it. I think it's not my favorite of his, but
I liked it. I liked it a lot until the very end. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, this time travel bullshit, fucking space-time continuum crap through a library and his daughter connection. What the fuck is that?
That whole bit was weird but interesting at the same time. That's probably why I don't hate it. I mean, it's not my favorite of his. I don't understand the hype for it as much as a lot of other people.
I'll be honest, man. I was kind of hyped for it when I saw the trailer. And then I watched the movie and I was like, yeah, I don't like this movie. And I'm like, the end is just, it was so stupid.
I mean,
for a sci-fi movie since Contact.
Yeah. Oh my god, I've seen Contact.
Like
she just fell.
too. Just
I mean, I got it for pretty fucking cheap. So that's why I got it.
No, as far as eye candy for 4K, I have it on 4K too. I haven't watched it yet because I hate that fucking ending. But I bought it just because I figured for the fact that it was filmed on film and it's supposed to be really good 4K and all that business. But
yeah, it probably is. And I'm confused. Was this Paramount or Warner Brothers that did this movie? Because both? Okay. Yeah.
That movie in your hand is the reason why Paramount fucked up and didn't make a Friday the 13th movie for 5 years when they could have.
Really?
And how Warner Brothers gave up their rights to the South Park sequel movie.
So crazy, man.
All because of this movie?
Yes, because Paramount was making it and Warner Brothers didn't want anybody else making a Nolan movie without them involved.
Huh.
It's crazy.
Because I was going to say, because
used to give a shit about who they had on their roster.
Because here's the thing,
very, very director friendly studio.
Yeah.
Like honestly, this movie's fine. I understand why some people don't like it. It's not his best. Like I've heard like a decent like amount of like bigger Christopher Nolan fans than I am are like, oh my god, this is one of his greatest movies, and it's like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'd probably put it on the better end, but that ending, that's what pisses me off. That's the part
that's partially why is the ending. Even though I mean, the ending, yeah, it's the weakest part of the movie, but it didn't like ruin it as a whole, in my opinion.
On the pantheon,
like Inception is a way better fucking movie, arguably.
Well, see,
I like Inception.
Inception's probably my favorite Nolan film, like straight up Nolan film.
Me too.
The Batman films, then I would be Dark Knight. But
the Dark Knight is probably his.
I like Memento and Inception. Would probably outside of the Batman. That's probably my top 2 favorite.
My top 2 is probably
ones.
Inception and The Prestige. The Prestige is underrated as fuck.
And then Interstellar's in the middle, like smack dab in the middle, and then way on the other end you have like fucking Tenet and shit.
Tenet was supposed to save the movie theaters.
I know. I don't hate Tenet. I did like it when I first saw it on IMAX.
I gotta finish watching it, but
no. So then I like watched it a second time at home because I bought it on Blu-ray, and I'm like, yeah, this movie.
I spent way too much on it. I wish I hadn't.
And yeah, it's one of those movies where I'm like, it works great on IMAX if you see it on IMAX format, because like Nolan made that movie just for that. And then you watch it, and then I watch it at home, and I'm just like, yeah, I really don't.
See, but I really liked Dunkirk, and a lot of people didn't like Dunkirk. So.
I didn't care for Dunkirk.
See, I liked that one. So
I mean, like the beginning is great in Dunkirk, and then it's just kind of boring after that.
What's Dunkirk, and then that what's with Gary Oldman? What is that movie he did? Churchill. You watch them back to back. There's great companion pieces.
I haven't seen that one yet. The Churchill one. I forgot all about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gary Oldman.
Yeah. There you go. Tommy, what's up?
What's the one?
Everyone.
Everyone.
Sorry.
Oh,
Gary Oldman. I was thinking of professionals.
Like honestly, the biggest standout in Dunkirk for me was the visuals. The visuals are fucking amazing. And
it has its moments, man.
Yeah, it has its moments. It's just there's a lot I don't know, I didn't care for. And I like a good war flick here and there. It's not one of them for me. Like visually it's amazing, the sound with the whole like shootings and bombs, or for some reason like Tarantino says that Dunkirk is one of his favorite movies.
I can
Did
see
you know?
why.
Did you know that?
No, but I can see why.
He talked about that in an interview, and I'm like, really? Because I didn't care for it as much.
Kind of like a fancy pants Tarantino film.
And
it kind of is, and it's very quiet too.
It's funny, like some of the sound mixing that he uses in Tenet is the same sound mixing he uses in Dunkirk. Like almost the exact same. Like that's when I guess it kind of started in Interstellar, and then it started to grow from there. And I'm interested in Oppenheimer just for the cast. That's really all I care.
It's not diverse enough.
I know. Oh my god! I laughed so hard.
You're such a racist.
I laughed so hard when people just started reeing, and it's like. Rami Malek's not a white guy, I don't think.
You're wrong. He's so white.
Oscar's so white.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think he's like, I think he's I mean, I don't know what race he is, but like I don't
Speaking of racist.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying he's pretty racist.
I'm just gonna say, like, not everyone in that cast is white, I'm pretty sure. Most of them are.
We'll have to wait and see on that. But shitty pick runner, but good. I'm just messing with you, man. No,
we can move on. We can move along.
Yeah. Let's go to the top. Let's see what Tom got. I was just messing with you,
man. Yeah. No, like I'm not kidding.
At some point.
This movie is one of those that I should bring up more often when we talk about this whole SJW culture, because you know how they're all like, this and that's always racist and shit. People were saying that shit about my next pick back when it first came out in, I believe, 1974. Yes. And that would be the original Death Wish with Charles Bronson. Yes. Many people called this film racist as fuck.
I could see why they could have.
There's a little element to that, you could say, but they even have it doesn't help that you have a lady in the movie literally saying, we can't help it. I'm sure he shoots more black We can't help it. They commit less crimes. Are we supposed to do? Anyway, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I don't give a fuck, though. And apologetically,
what are we saying here, Tom?
Love this movie. I don't give a shit. It's got a young Jeff Goldblum in it as well. That needs to be noted.
Yeah, the first one is really good, though.
The first one's really amazing. Good. It's a great fucking film. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Avoid the remake. Not that the remake's horrible as some of the other ones. It's just it's kind of like why. It's just,
yeah, it's one of them.
It's kind of unnecessary.
Can you only get the second one on 4K?
Yes.
Yes, Vinegar Syndrome.
Why didn't they do the? Well, do they own? I don't know.
Paramount owns the rights to the first one. Dino De Laurentiis made the first one. Canon made the second one.
Oh, okay.
And the third, fourth.
And that's when Canon got in with Charles Bronson, and they just like let him make whatever he wanted.
Oh, is it the 2018 remake?
Yeah, I think that's
with one with Bruce Willis and Vincent D'Onofrio.
It's not bad, but it like Tom said, it's kind of like the Poltergeist one. It's pointless.
Yeah,
got it.
Pointless.
Yeah,
it is pretty much the same story.
Actually, they go a little lighter.
A little bit. Well, and there's I think the 2018 version has more elements from the original book. Because like in the original book, I believe Paul is a doctor.
Oh, it was directed by Eli Roth.
Yeah, the new one was.
Yeah.
The new one is. No, the original one's pretty good. It's a great flick. I love it. Decent cast. A nice little pot boiler or whatever you want to call it. Works really well.
And it's like it encapsulates a certain point in time. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's just I dug it. I like the first one. The second one, like we talked about, gets a little meaner and grittier.
We'll talk about that maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
But you're right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
Death Wish 3 good.
It's good. The better of the sequels.
They're all.
But yeah, they're all good.
All right. Because I'm looking it up right now. That's why I asked.
But what did you say, Tom?
They did a fourth one too? Shit.
There's 5.
They did 5 of them, man.
Oh, you did 5? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I was going to kind of say I didn't know if Runner actually knew, and some of the people in the, audience may not know the whole story. I mean, it's a pretty simple story. A man who's mostly pacifist has his wife and daughter attacked, and his wife dies as a result of it, and his daughter's damn near catatonic. So he just snaps and he goes out at night and he starts killing muggers. And he kind of becomes a local celebrity. And because of him, crime goes down like 50%. So the city and the cops are kind of stuck with this really they're in this fucked up position because, they don't want to make a martyr out of the guy. But at the same time, he's actually
he's helping
crime to go down. So and you got a great bit with the cop played by Vincent Gardenia, who is a really great character. I wish I remember his name here right now, but he's kind of the guy who's on the case of this vigilante murderer.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name either. Was it Nick?
I can't remember his name in the movie, but it's Vincent Gardenia is the actual actor.
Yeah, it is the actor. I was trying to remember the name of the movie.
It might be Nick. Might be right. Nick something or other. I think you know the name by the second one, but yeah. But no, it's just a really good flick. It's really nicely paced. I really can't bitch about it. Vincetti, is that his name in the movie? That might be it.
I think it might be Vincetti. Yeah. Officer Vincetti. That sounds yeah.
And Sean's right. This came out in the era of Dirty Harry. It's not nearly as good as Dirty Harry, but
he says Death Wish is better than Dirty Harry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Death Wish is? Oh, I thought you meant
that's what Sean says.
I misread it like that. I thought you meant you could be right. Story wise. They're
at least the first one is better than maybe 1 or 2 of Dirty Harry movies.
I mean, it's a very undersung film, and I think it's buried in this whole it's racist stuff.
I mean, like I said, I could get why people say that, but like
the sequels,
the time it takes place, like and everything that's happening in it,
which is funny because the sequels, it's like, oh, you thought we were racist the first time. Sure, we're gonna kill some white folk too, but just wait. Like,
yeah, the second one is
and the diversity here too.
I don't think they're going to play Marcus. I don't think they're going to be making any sequel to Death Wish or another one anytime soon.
Yeah, I'd see them remake it before I'd see that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
it'd
Amazon
probably
could turn it into a series.
I mean, if it was done right, I could maybe buy into a series of it with the right actor and the right somebody who cares for the movies, the originals.
Well, that's kind of the problem you have. Like Charles Bronson shouldn't even have worked in this role, but Charles Bronson only works just because he has that. He can play that nebbish kind of guy, okay? Because he kind of talks under his own voice anyway when he talks, so you can buy him in that. Bruce Willis, you can't buy in that role. Like that's the problem. Yeah. Because really, in reality, and from my recollection from the book, the character's supposed to be more like a Rick Moranis kind of guy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a lot more.
That's the whole point. Yeah, you don't suspect him. He's a conscious. He didn't want to be in the war in the first place. He was a doctor in the war, in the Korean War, and stuff like that. And he hates guns. Like that's another part of his character and stuff. I think they really hit home more in the book. And I mean, they had a lot more of that in Bruce Willis's version, which kind of goes again because it's fucking Bruce Willis. At this point, it's tough to see him in that role.
It is because after you've seen Bruce Willis and everything he's done up until that point, it's hard to buy him as.
Yeah, but I got to imagine it's got to be the same for people when they saw this in 1974, because as then most people knew Charles Bronson as this action star.
Right.
Like what was the last I think the latest thing like Bruce Willis was in that I've seen was Glass, and I fucking hated that. Bruce Willis wasn't even good in that, in my opinion.
It's Frank Ochoa, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
But we kind of know why, because of his condition.
Yeah, now we know why.
That had something to do with it, because when I watched that movie, I'm just like, what the hell? Something's not right with Bruce Willis. It's like he doesn't want to be there, kind of thing. And it's
Sean, I disagree a little bit. Lethal Weapon, because Lethal Weapon is, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, right?
Yeah.
Death Wish, on the other hand, if you go at it from the angle of more like the book, like I said, you cast somebody who's like a Rick Moranis type, a nerdier guy in the role. Shit, even somebody like Rami Malek, for that matter, who we talked about a little bit ago. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get somebody like that, it lends itself to a series, because that's the best part is you can have him move to a different city in every season.
The thing they're like they could do started off with the first book, but with the second book they can't do because the author hated the sequel because he didn't like that they turned him into a hero. He was supposed to be.
Yeah, didn't he make a new book that was called?
Yeah, he called His sequel was called Descendants,
which I believe has actually been made into a movie, but I can't remember who's in it.
Starring Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon plays him.
Yes, that's right, because we were just talking about it. Yes.
Yeah, we just talked about that. But yeah, he didn't like the fact that they turned his character into a hero. He wanted him to be seen as bad as the people he's taking out. So that's why he wrote Death Sentence.
Well, and that's the thing is the original film specifically, and even the second film for that matter, really play into a lot of, the whole idea is Kersey justified in what he's doing? Right. And I mean, they try to make it like in 9 times out of 10, a gun is pulled on him, or he's shot at too, or at least in a position to where they could kill him. But it's still questionable. It's like, I can see this debate being had, right? Is this movie glorifying the idea that just because somebody is robbing somebody, does that really constitute them killing somebody, even assaulting somebody for that matter? And as bad and as horrific and the scenes are in this film, because I mean this one isn't even nearly as bad as some of the latter films, but I mean the bits that are in this film, I mean the way his daughter's assaulted and the way his wife's beaten in the film was, it's pretty harsh for 1974. This is the kind of shit that was in Clockwork Orange, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see that being very like, holy shit, and taking an audience kind of aback, right? Or I don't know a better way to take, but an audience really reacting to that in a visceral way, or however you want to put it, to where they're just like, yeah, this movie is weird, and it's, they're not weird, but it's really kind of, it makes me question a lot of things. Like, yeah, should I really be rooting for this character?
Exactly. And honestly, what would you do if you were put in a situation as horrific as he was put in, and with what happened to his family?
Right, because he doesn't even, he's really like Batman in a sense that, or at least those who actually get Batman, hint, hint.
Yeah.
That he shouldn't really know who killed his family, right? Like, he'll never get that satisfaction. That's why he does this, right? He's trying to fill that void of the revenge he never got from, the attackers on his wife and daughter being brought to justice.
Right.
That's kind of what, and he knows that the system's broken, and it's like, even in a situation where somebody was murdered, they still ain't even the chances. The guy's honest with him, the cop. He's like, look, I'd like to make you feel better, but the chances of us catching this guy are pretty slim.
Yep.
For these guys, basically, even though there's a chance, he's like, but there's not a very good chance, so
especially for like I said, for that time period, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, because you didn't have security footage, you didn't have any of that shit to where, right, like, because at that time, if this crime happened now, cut and dry. You'd have tons of security footage. These guys were into the building and all that kind of, like, all kinds of stuff, to where it wouldn't be that difficult. And they do a decent job of updating it in that respect in the new film. But again, that remake is not nearly as good as.
Yeah, it's just not. But I mean, I could see like them playing that up, something like that, on like a streaming service, if done right and respectful. And I mean, you definitely have to like bring in some of the book and some of the movies and kind of find the right balance there. And especially like with today's day and age, would you set it in today's day and age, or would you make it like a period piece TV show?
That's a good question. I think it could be interesting as a period piece, but I think to play with today's audience, you have to probably modernize it. I mean, that was a couple of the elements of Death Wish, the remake, that I didn't think were horrible. Like, they have like his first killing go viral, like he's caught, but he's of course wearing like a hood or whatever. So so like that aspect of it and stuff like that, and how it kind of took off, like all that kind of, like, I can see them playing with that. And yeah, you'd have to be a little bit more clever, because like I just said, it's a little bit easier to figure out who does what nowadays with all the security footage and just the crime alone that happens the way it happens and unfolds in this first film. I don't even recall. It's similar in the new movie, but it's through the valet. He goes in and he takes a picture of their GPS thing. So like they even had to deal with that kind of a thing, right? To where they weren't necessarily caught. Because, and in this version, I think in the remake of Death Wish, though, I think he does actually get the guys that get his, because I think he figures, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he finally gets to him, and he gets to take him out.
Of the first Death Wish and that series is that he never does get the people that kill his wife, right?
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of where it just kind of has that whole like lingering thing to him, and it does. It's a very tragic film in a lot of ways, but again, it like makes you wonder, should I be cheering along?
Yeah,
because that was the problem they had in the theaters, that people started cheering, and then you had people accusing those people of being racist. Yes, this shit happened back in 1974.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, it's true. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I get that the author didn't like that they turned him into a hero or anything, but if, like I said, if you were put in that position and you had an opportunity to take out this criminal element after what happened to you, I mean, it's hard not to cheer for somebody like that. You know what I mean? It's just, this is my 2 cents.
No, and I don't want to drag this out too much longer because we're already kind of running late.
Yeah, we're running late.
Talk a little bit more about this, so let's run to the next one here.
Yeah, I'll do mine real quick. Since it's my turn. Another bit of a dark movie here. Pet Sematary, the original, on 4K. So if you haven't seen it, it plays pretty good. It looks pretty good in 4K. It's not too bad.
I didn't even know that had a 4K.
No fair.
No fair. You cheated.
I haven't watched it in 4K yet. How is it? What you said? It looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. I'll be honest. I kind of skimmed through it because I kind of needed an extra title. Haven't watched it, but it looks pretty good and it sounds pretty good. And yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic Pet Sematary movie. You know, the '80s version, and it's the little kid Gage is creepy as shit. And Zelda.
I've seen like it came with like a pack of like 5 other like Stephen King adaptations on like a Blu-ray and one of my Best Buys. I didn't
You
even
can
know it had
actually
one.
get a double pack of the 4K version of that and the new one, actually.
Yeah, this came out around the time the new one was releasing. So they released the original in 4K. It's not bad. It was one of the cheaper ones when it released, but the 4K it looked good. It didn't look bad.
Because I think I ended up buying them separately because I ended up buying the first one and then I pre-ordered the new one just out of because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then like later on they did that dual one. I'm like, fuck, it was like half the price. I'm like,
but yeah, it's not bad, and sometimes dead is better.
Yeah, up there on the cemetery.
Herman Munster is great in this. It's pretty good old school Stephen King when Stephen King was cool.
Freaked the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
Hey, tell me about it.
I was a kid at one of those points where when I was younger, it was easy to scare me, but then I got to the point where I realized how movies were made, right? And I loved shit like Gremlins, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street by this point, Child's Play, all that stuff. I loved it all. That movie, though, was just one of those movies that got to me. And it stuck with me, and I've only seen it a few times since then because of that. It's just something about that movie. It's a good movie. It's a very good
movie. It's that damn kid is creepy as shit.
That's a big part of it because just the way that whole goes, it's just so done so well, and you're just like, oh man, you feel that shit when that kid
is
just like save that baby, and you're just like,
oh. Yeah, and it's one of the reasons like in New Wes Craven's New Nightmare because it's the same kid. It's like that kid is still creepy in that movie. Yeah, but it's like, and even like the Zelda chick, even though it's a man, actually plays them in the movie. She's creepy in that. It's all kinds of creepiness, like with the dreams and the walking through the cemetery and the crazy hillbilly.
The kid comes back, you're like, kill the little motherfucker.
And it's just like, what? And when he cuts his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, and he's like,
oh man,
and you're like, get the little fucker. God damn it. Oh, that just unsettled me.
It's unsettling.
Not just the Achilles heels, but when he cuts his mouth too. That whole God, I'm still thinking about just that whole bit. That kid in the movie, he's creepy as fuck.
He is. It really is. But it looked good from what I mean. I didn't go through all of it.
It's new enough. I'm sure they went back to the original negative and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. Let me read it. It doesn't say on this one.
Paramount's been pretty good about doing that. So
yeah, and you'd
have to look at Blu-ray.com. Most of them don't say unless they're like a Shout or a Kino or
like from that. But yeah, it looked good. It sounded pretty good. I didn't have any complaints about what I watched of it, but I've seen it a couple times, so I could talk about it. But yeah, Pet Cemetery there. Not as long as conversation as Death Wish, because Death Wish is actually really good. But Pet Cemetery, if you haven't seen it or you want the 4K, it's totally worth it.
Yet? I haven't seen the remake.
I've not seen the remake.
I heard they flip it in the remake. It's the girl that gets killed and not the boy.
That's what I heard, but I also heard it's not.
I heard it sucked, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's not good. And I heard they're even doing another one.
Hey, I actually like the old Pet Cemetery too. Now that's one that I can watch over and over again. Because that is just B cheesy movie fun.
Yeah.
You've got what's his face who played the Kurgan in it.
Oh yeah. What's his name?
Damn it.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Robert Patrick's in it, ain't he? Or no, not Robert Patrick, but Edward Furlong. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're talking about part 2.
Yeah.
I
love part 2. I love part 2. Part 2 is fucking fun.
Yeah, part 2 with Edward Furlong.
I've seen the second one a ton more times than I've seen the first one.
Yeah, it's fun. That's another one where it's like people hate the sequel. Well, and actually, I don't think people really do hate that sequel, do they?
I don't know too many people who really hate it. I just don't think a lot of people know it existed.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have seen it. Wasn't that released not too long ago from like
re-released now? Yeah, by Shout
or someone. Yeah.
Shout. I'll have to watch that again. I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't own that one. I'm gonna have to get that one. That's been a while since I've seen it too.
Yeah, I picked it up when Shout brought it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one I like. I'm like, oh yeah. I like that commentary too.
It's fun, and but plus, it's not as creepy as the.
Oh no! As a sequel, it's horrible.
Yeah,
as a sequel, it's fucking horrible. But just taking the concept and then running with it, and just having Clancy Brown it up.
Yeah,
and the motorcycle bit and some of the other shit that's in there is just good shit. Like it's cheesy fucking fun. The best part is you really don't even have to have seen the first movie to watch.
It's one of those. It's like it's one of those like sequels. It's like people know the idea of the Pet Cemetery. It doesn't really have to relate to the first movie. We'll just make a new one.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It's the best of those shitty Stephen King sequels. Of that era.
I kind of like the cheesy.
Sometimes they come back.
Yeah, sometimes I was about to say I like those.
And all that stuff. Of all that stuff, the Pet Cemetery 2 is definitely.
Plus, it was at the time when Edward Furlong was, coming off of Terminator and all that. So he was.
So it was right after. I think.
Yeah. So I think so many people remember it from that too. But it was pretty good.
Called him Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick. Well, you weren't far off.
God damn it!
You weren't far off though.
I caught myself at least.
But there's my pick. So, Runner, what do you got for us for your final pick of the night?
All right,
Are you alive?
I'm alive.
He's falling asleep, poor kid.
I know we talk about these movies. He has no idea.
20 more minutes past the end of the movie. Okay.
I am probably gonna have to leave once I'm done with my final pick. I gotta get some sleep.
I understand, man. Go ahead.
So this movie, I had to write a paper on it, my midterm, on my film class that I'm taking in college right now. It's a pretty good movie. It's the only movie I've seen from Spike Lee, and that is Do the Right Thing on 4K.
Did you do the right thing?
Did you do the right thing?
No, not at all.
I still can't believe you. Like when you mentioned that last week, it's like shock to hell on me that you've seen Do the Right Thing.
What was Spike Lee's name in that? Pookie, something like that.
Mookie.
That's what I thought. Mookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I just haven't watched it in like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it too.
No, it's a good movie. I really liked it.
It's one of Spike Lee's best.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not.
I didn't say Jason Patrick.
No, I picked it up on 4K. It was one of the few that was still left at my Best Buy at one point.
I didn't even know that was on 4K.
Yeah. I didn't know it was either, and I just picked it up. I'm like, yeah, it was a.
I was
good
pissed
movie.
because I just bought the son of a bitch on Blu-ray.
Bought...
It came out, but I got lucky and found it for $15. So
nice.
Tell
people a little bit about what it's about before you head off.
What's about? Okay, so I mean, yeah, I do kind of remember it just because I had to write a whole paper about it. I had to talk about like everything from like a filmmaking perspective. That's kind of where I kind of see, because I had to talk about the cinematography, everything about the movie, really. Like, because I had to write a big paper on it. What was it? So it's about this pizza place, right? Or this pizza shop. I forgot what it's called. Fuck.
It doesn't matter. Just
something pizzeria, and then there's a wall of fame with Italian dudes, and young Giancarlo Esposito gets pissed off, and because there's no black people in there, and then he's like, what does he say? He's like, what? He's like, Sal, why are there no brothers on the wall? Or something like that. It's pretty funny, and then like he calls a boycott on Sal's, and then it just gets crazier after that. That's all I really remember. Boycott Sal's. Boycott Sal's.
Well, at least you enjoyed the film, and like I said, it was still just like that. Still shocked me. He's like, "Oh, I've seen Do the Right Thing." I was like, "You haven't even seen Robocop 2, but you've seen Do the Right Thing."
Yeah, because I was forced to watch it.
Hey, at least you enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, it was good. I did really like it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
And Rosie Perez was super hot. Too.
Yeah. She was good in White Men Can't Jump. I like that movie.
Thank God for the left nipple. Thank God for the right nipple. Yeah, good.
What's up, Snow Dub?
Yeah, pretty good movie.
There's some snow in this house. There's some snow in this house.
What's up, Snow Dub?
I got a T-shirt today, a Puffin Stuff T-shirt.
H&R? H&R Puffin Stuff?
I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's Puff the Magic.
Oh,
Dragon.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
I'm Snow Dub because I won the trivia.
I'm not gonna lie, Greg. I didn't think you'd care about this movie.
I'm not a huge fan of Spike Lee, but it's one like Tom and it's one of his better ones. It's probably his best one.
He's made like 20 movies and 3 of them are good. Maybe 4.
That's what I've heard.
You're talking like that. Summer of Sam. Black Klansman.
I heard that was good.
Until the end, and then Girl 6 was okay. Other than that, they're all shit.
Yeah, I'm not a huge
Jungle
fan
Fever I haven't seen, but that was another one that got a lot of praise. So,
what about Malcolm X?
Oh, Malcolm X, forgot about that one. Yeah, that one's all right.
I haven't seen. I think I watched like part of it just because it was a long movie.
Let's be honest. If it wasn't for Denzel Washington, that movie probably wouldn't be very good.
No, Denzel
Washington. Land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
What was that basketball movie Denzel was in that Spike Lee directed?
Oh, did he make that? That was a crap movie. What was that movie?
Oh, She Got Game or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think
He Got Game.
It's one of those. I don't know. I never saw it.
That wasn't good.
I never saw it. I can't speak.
I'm not like a huge fan in the Spike Lee, so I never really
went
through his catalog.
I really checked out of his after Bamboozled. I'm feeling bamboozled. I'm no longer watching these movies unless I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. And Black Klansman was like the first movie I've watched of his since Bamboozled. Bamboozled came out in 2000. Runner.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, exactly. Bamboozled was fucking horrible. You want to see a funny review? Go watch like Siskel and Ebert's review or Ebert and Roper's review of that.
I love watching some of their old reviews.
Because those two fucking argue over it. Because one of them's like it's the most racist thing in the world, and the other one's like you just don't get it.
Back when watching movie criticism from actual critics were fun.
I hated Roper when he first came on, but now I've come to respect the motherfucker.
Yeah.
He was one of the few critics who had the balls to come out and say Ghostbusters 2016 sucks.
Wait, who said that again? Roper?
Yeah, Richard Roper. He was the guy who took over for Gene Siskel on Siskel and Ebert. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hated him at first. He was like a little smug little sumbitch, but then kind of grew on you after a while. Because sometimes he'd have one of those takes, kind of like, when Siskel and Ebert, he didn't care about getting into it with Ebert. That was the beauty of it. Finally, it was like, okay, I see why he picked this guy, because he's kind of like Gene. They have different tastes, so it works.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of times where it was kind of revert, like, because, Roger would be like, oh, it was an all right movie. It was good. It did what it was supposed to do. And Roper would be like, you're fucking insane. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Especially Roger got a lot nicer near the end there. He was giving like every movie a thumbs up. And it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like Free Willy 3? Really?
Free Willy 3, 2 thumbs up with a fin.
Great family. No. Roger, go eat some fucking Raisinette and shut the fuck up. Don't go see this movie. Take your kid to something better. That was kind of what it was like.
That was crazy.
Anyway,
let's go for your runner. Do you got to go?
Runner's got to go, but speaking of Vinegar Syndrome and the 4K, I don't know if you wanted to hear a little bit about this or not, but this has been the most released Death Wish movie of all time. Death Wish 2, of course. This one here. This is a Shout Factory one from a little while back. This is the import one that actually has some other special features on it, which have kind of been conglomerated to a point, and I'll get into that, into this beauty, which we thought was an April Fool's joke.
Yes.
Because it came out, they dropped the news on this. Nobody knew this was coming. It was all of a sudden dropped on their
April
website
1st.
April 1st on Vinegar Syndrome are like, oh, Death Wish 2? Really? Is that an April Fool's joke?
No shit.
But
I do remember seeing that on my feed, I think around
Okay.
the beginning of April.
I don't know if you wanted to take off running before we got into it. But,
No, I am gonna go, actually. Sorry, guys.
All right. You have a good night,
that's
man.
cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
I have a few more weeks of school, and then, you know, my sleep schedule, not a big worry. So, yeah. I have a few more weeks to suffer.
You have a good night and have fun at school.
Yeah, thanks. I won't be having fun at all.
Actually, no, didn't Ebert like Army of Darkness? I think Siskel didn't, but or am I thinking? I thought one of them liked Predator as well.
I'll put my channel in the.
Drop your channel chat and have a
I'll
good night,
drop
man.
my channel chat. Hey, thanks, guys. It was a fun stream.
Take care,
always.
Peace out.
See ya.
But yeah, as I said, this has been released a couple times before. This is a 4K master from the negative. Looks really good as it can be expected to be, considering the Canon film.
Exactly.
You have you don't have all the same special features as the other one, because the one that's imported here, which is actually region free and has Death Wish 2 and 3 on it, the thing that is carried over is the television version. But in this case, on this Blu-ray, it's actually in HD as opposed to the imported one I have. It's on a DVD, so it's full frame standard edition. You gotta.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of it real quick.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things. There's like a 52-minute featurette called Action 2 that was like an old show that used to go behind the scenes of shows, and it's about the movie that's not carried over. Otherwise, everything else has been carried over onto here, because the only thing that's a special feature on the Shout Factory one, believe it or not, is that it has an audio commentary, and I believe it's the same one that's on here. So that's been carried over as well. The only thing missing on this version that I can see, other than that documentary that I just talked about, is the theatrical cut is not on this version. So if you're actually some weirdo who wants the theatrical cut, you have to buy that Shout version or the imported one.
Right.
Otherwise, I think they're just kind of basically substituting the HD version of the TV cut for it. Pretty much, in other words.
Yeah, pretty much.
But otherwise, there is some new stuff on here as far as bonus features go, like interviews and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. My only complaint is I wish they would have done a sound upgrade, because considering, it had music by Jimmy Page, it would have been really nice to have like a Dolby Atmos soundtrack on it. But Vinegar Syndrome usually doesn't do an upgrade for the audio. That's usually like Blue Underground and
yeah, like somebody. Yeah, but they usually clean them up pretty nice on the picture, though.
No, but I was impressed with how good this looked for as old as the movie is, and actually, I don't mind this one so much. It's not a bad sequel. I kind of like it.
It's not a bad sequel, but it does get a little.
It is a little bit more
grittier.
nastier and grittier, like you said, and it definitely does feel like an 80s film compared to the first film, obviously, considering even though it's like 7 years since the first one, they say it's only been 5.
So it's like 7 years between it, and it's supposed to be 5 years.
So 74, and this one came out in 81. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then but Vincent Gardenia came back, which was great.
Yeah, he came back for that.
In the end, I really dig. He gets a lot of to do there. I mean, but most of the unrated stuff. I mean, that's probably my only complaint, because I probably would have rather had the theatrical cut also in 4K, because that does take out some of the more seedier shit.
Right.
In the rape scenes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like his daughter survives the first movie and everything. And then like they got to put him right back to the ringer again to get him started again. So,
well, and yeah, I don't like that aspect of this film, because they do set it up already in the end of the first film that he's going to continue to do this in Chicago, right?
Right.
And then they just kind of bypass Chicago and have him move out to LA without even kind of insinuating if anything happened in Chicago. And he has his daughter moved out there and all this stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of at least a believable scenario to way they set this up, but it's like you kind of sit there going, yeah, did they really have to go that far?
Yeah.
Right. Like you really just had to, it would have been just as easy to pick this movie up right where the first movie kind of left off. He just moved on to it. Like we were just talking about with a series, right?
Right.
Like you end the first, you end the first season with, the Vincent Gardenia equivalent character going, look, get the fuck out of town.
Yeah. Cause
same difference. And then just the next season, it's in Chicago. And then the same kind of thing happens in Chicago.
Right.
So then you move into LA. And then the same thing happens in LA. So
you still just sort of do it like the Jack Reacher. Kind of like that.
Is that how they're doing? I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, that's sort of how the story of Jack Reacher is like, he's in a different city, different place in every novel. So he never goes back to where he was before. So that's sort of how like the Jack Reacher story is told. So you could literally do that like with Death Wish.
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah.
I think it would work. But no, like I don't hate this movie. I think it's pretty good.
Well, I mean, all the Death Wishes are pretty good.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I mean, actually, I think I liked it better this round than I did the last few times I've seen it. I don't know why.
Maybe because it's like the 4K, the fresher package and everything.
I think it does. Like just being able to see the movie in a little bit more pristine quality, even though normally that B movie, like the old Blu-rays are okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Shout did any kind of new scans for this old Blu-ray. But again, like if you want the theatrical cut, because it's like identical to the import, I checked them. The scans for like the MGM discs and the import ones I have are like identical. But other than that, I mean, these movies don't get a lot of love. So the fact that this movie got this, this is why we thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, because you would never because like you said, they were claimed to be racist and all this, and they were canon films and so yeah, it was kind of like, are we going to get Death Wish 2 on 4K or?
Yeah, it really, and like because of the other two titles that were on there too were kind of questionable at the same time.
Yeah, the Private Alien,
especially Flesh Eaters. I'm just like between that one and Death Wish 2, I was just really like, are they fucking with us?
I'm glad they were, because I really do want to get those three movies. I haven't got them yet, but I want to get Death Wish 2, Flesh Eater, and Alien Private Eye.
Kind of hope. I don't know what the situation is now with Amazon owning MGM, but I kind of hope Vinegar made a deal with them to do 3 and 4 as well before.
I did too, because like I said, like we talked before, and I've noticed that Vinegar Syndrome has put out a couple canon films.
Yeah,
they're from the very early days of canon,
which this would be.
Yes, which that would be. So it'd be interesting to see what else canon they get and if they can do part 3 and 4.
I believe up until 87 or 88-ish, 87, I think, because of Masters of the Universe, MGM was their primary release. Like they would do their releasing through. So maybe those are the ones that maybe they did a deal with. It's hard to say because everything after that Warner Brothers has. Right. Because they made a deal with Warner Brothers in 87 to bail themselves out. And that's why Masters of the Universe, and it actually kind of started with Cobra, to be honest with you, in 86. But that, the story of that, because they would tack their names on because of their deal with Stallone.
It was a bigger budget thing, and they just wanted to have that.
Well, they actually did a deal with Stallone during the making of it. This is what I found out. I don't know if I even told you this. I might not have told you this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I might have, but during the making of Cobra is when they did the deal for Over the Top. And Canon did an exclusive deal with him. That's why they spent so much money on him.
Oh, yeah.
So they weaseled their way into Cobra through that because they signed that exclusive deal.
Oh, those guys are awesome. Just all the deals they made, and
Menachem is crazy. I love Menachem.
Yeah, he was crazy. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see if Vinegar Syndrome can get 3. That would be awesome to have 3 and 4.
I know, right?
There, and like I said, I know it's like X-Ray and Slaughterhouse Rock, and there were some other ones I can't remember at the moment.
It's funny
because they were all canon films.
Here's the funny thing, and the reason I bring this up is I wonder if there isn't already 4K scans of them, or at least part 3, because Alex Winter recently was at a screening of Death Wish 3, I believe.
Oh, really?
And usually for those screenings, unless they do a special 35 millimeter print, rarely they'll just get the same HD as a print as a Blu-ray, but a lot of those, the reason I knew a lot of the movies that were coming to 4K in the last couple of years, here's a hint. Here's how I cheated. They were all the movies that were getting re-released in theaters during the COVID. Why? Because that told me that I knew that there were 4K masters of them.
That makes sense. Like all them like Senna whatever things.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So a lot of times that's how I kind of knew what was. That's how I know what movies there are 4K masters of, at least a lot of them. And I know a handful that still haven't come out that they're just sitting on for whatever reason. Like even TMNT has a 4K master supposedly.
Oh man, I would love a 4K master of that.
Yeah,
if they ever get that figured out, that would be awesome.
I don't know. For the Fathom event though, supposedly that was from that new 4K master. I didn't get to go see it though, so I didn't get to. I would have been able to tell. Like. I would have been able to tell. I've seen that movie enough times. I can tell you the difference in variations, just the slight differences in variations between the video, the DVD, and the Blu-ray, which there is really none between the DVD and Blu-ray because of the same fucking print. Yeah. But the VHS actually is somewhat in letterbox, the old VHS, until they re-released it on New Line, and then they cropped it off again at full screen. But like, yeah. People didn't notice it back in the day. But
it's a good keen eye there, Tom. Good keen eye.
No, I kind of like Death Wish 2. I was kind of surprised how much I enjoyed it. They did a good job. Vinegar Syndrome did. My only complaint is I wish we would have got. It'd been kind of cool to have a Dolby Atmos soundtrack.
Yeah,
especially with the Jimmy Page soundtrack. Because I mean, that's one thing I forgot to say. Death Wish, the first movie, probably has one of the worst soundtracks of the 70s. And it's not a very good soundtrack. The score. But the score for the second film kicks ass.
Definitely.
And the first movie has some moments, but there's some spots where the music just feels completely out of place. Because it has that early 70s kind of
like
no, not that so much as just like the overdoing it and over with like the horn section and stuff. Something. It had that late 60s, early 70s kind of feel to it. It just didn't match the tone of the film.
Right.
I hate to say like a Bondish theme, but it's not quite like that. But it almost like
it's a little more like upbeaty type. Where it should have been.
It just doesn't feel like it fit. Like a TV movie fucking score.
Yeah.
To where having Jimmy Page come in and giving you that kick-ass kind of score for that second film, which is just like I want to get this soundtrack for the second film after I forgot how good it was.
It's been a while since I've seen all the Death Wishes. I may have to start getting them together myself. Like I definitely want to get that. And did you say like 3 and 4 are they released in America or they have to be imported?
Yes. The thing is you're almost better off unless we hear until we hear otherwise. The best versions are these imports from Umbrella because they're the same exact scans as the MGM discs. You'll end up buying Death Wish 2 and 3 together, and you could get 2 copies if you do the 4K, but you get some special features in that one documentary that I was talking about.
Right.
It covers House and Death Wish 2. So if you're a fan of House, hey. And it's narrated by William Catt.
Awesome.
But there's another version of this which may or may not make an appearance next week. Hint, hint. It had Death Wish 4 and 5 on it. So the best way to get them is to import these two, the two sets.
To do that, because Umbrellas are really good and they're region free. So
yeah. And they're the same scans, and it's the only way you can get 5 in America, unless I think it's been released on DVD, and it's a really crappy pan and scan DVD.
That's crazy, but yeah, like I'd be anxious to see. Maybe we'll get a part 3 on Vinegar Syndrome.
That would be neat.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Vinegar Syndrome has some kind of connection with these old canon films. Even with the Amazon
wonder, like I said, with Alex Winter doing that, and I think he also did a thing recently for the for that documentary thing too, didn't he? Because they were talking about Death Wish 3 and the In Search of.
Oh yeah, they talked to him, but I don't think they talked about Death Wish 3 in that.
I thought they did in that one part for some. No, he's in Electric Boogaloo. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo.
That's what I'm getting mixed up with. Sorry.
Yeah, because he is in all those. He is in all those In Search of Darkness documentaries.
I know, that's why I'm getting crossover in my brain. You watch them all so close together, and you're just like, fuck. It's just like I watched those two Golden Globus documentaries so close together, I forget sometimes which one had which stuff in it. So,
I guess we'll do mine because we've been going almost 3 hours here.
Yeah. Long show, kids.
Yeah, long one tonight, guys. I know if you go on back and rewatch it, make sure you watch it to the end if possible. But I got Weekend at Bernie's, and this is more than likely just a DVD scan.
Shout Select, are you listening?
Yeah,
this is one you need to get your hands on and rescan right there, buddy.
Right there.
Need some special features too.
Yeah, there's no special features.
While you're
on
at
this
it,
at
throw
all.
the second film in just because you're nice, because we're never going to buy it otherwise.
Yeah, so you need do a little double feature like that. But
like
yeah,
Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2, they should have put them together. More people would have bought it that way.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because when it came out on DVD, it was that way, and that's the way I always looked at it. It was like I bought Teen Wolf 1 and I got Teen Wolf 2 as a special feature.
I like Teen Wolf 2.
It has its moment. I did buy the shelf. I felt dirty as can be buying that Shelf Factory Blu-ray. I'm like, you dirty bastards! Why couldn't you just put this in a double pack? Bill and Ted, I would have bought gladly separately, but oh no. Sorry, but
but knowing like that, what we know about MGM now, this is basically just the DVD scan on a Blu-ray up conversion.
Yeah, it's not one of their better Blu-rays. Actually, didn't Fox do that one?
No. Well, yes, 20th Century Fox and MGM.
Yeah, yes, MGM owns the rights, but it could be one of those up converted ones. I haven't watched. I have that Blu-ray, but I remember that being one of the old ass cheap Blu-rays, so it probably is.
Yeah, I think I paid like $3 for this.
Yeah,
so it's a great movie. If nobody's ever seen it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, it's a great film. It's Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman. They're just trying to get ahead in this business they work with, and their boss is Bernie, played by Terry Kaiser. They find some irregularities in the what is it, like the payment? I think it is.
They find out that they noticed that somebody had been paid out twice. They died.
Yeah, like the paycheck thing.
And what it was is Bernie was defrauding the company. So, like he invites him out to his house for the weekend to have him killed. Yep,
and because Bernie's working sort of like with the mob, and then the mob ended up killing Bernie, and they don't realize that Bernie had been dead, and then none of the people there, but other than them two, so they kind of just use him as a puppet to have this awesome weekend on the beach in his house and everything.
Well, for precedent, for those who the one person in the audience who may not have seen this film, as dumb as the idea sounds, it actually works because they play back the message that was recorded when Bernie picked up the phone after the answering machine did, and they hear him say, "Don't kill these two idiots while I'm around." So they already know what's going on to a point, but they don't realize that they killed Bernie instead, not giving a shit about them too.
Yeah.
So they think as long as they make everybody believe that Bernie's alive and he's still by, then they won't get killed. So that's the only reason they're doing this. That's the logic of this. And it barely hinges on that logic, but it works. And it's a beautiful, brilliant comedy because of that. It
is, and it works so great.
It's one of those comedy of error type movies that are just, it works so well from beginning to end. It was done so perfectly. I mean, you just couldn't have done it any better than they did it. It was pitch perfect. All the jokes land, even when Bernie lands in sand. And you got to give that dude credit for being able to play it as well as he did. You know, because a lot of that time it's not a dummy. I mean, there's
it's just him, just like getting slung around.
Yeah, I can imagine how many muscles and shit he pulled making that movie.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's a really great fun movie. And yes, Shout Factory, somebody out there, Kino Lorber, somebody, Destiny's a new scan, special features. I mean, everybody's still live.
Yeah.
Catherine Mary Stewart is in it, and she's still hot. So,
well, what's the face who plays Bernie's still alive too? Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Kaiser. He's still alive. Yeah. So it'd be that would be a great one to have. I really was, a really nice big Blu-ray of this would be cool. It'd be cool.
Dare I say it even deserves a 4K scan?
I would say, and you know what? This would probably pop in 4K with all the outdoor, with the bright beaches and the sky and the water and the sand. This would look amazing in 4K.
I bet would. So I love it. It's one of those movies that I watch almost every summer.
Yeah, same here.
One of those summer movies that you just.
I didn't watch like that in the Burbs, like the summertime.
I never thought of those two as a good combo, but now that you say that, that is a good double feature.
Yeah, it's like the Burbs, because it never really specifies what holiday they're on, or whether it's like 4th of July, Memorial Weekend, or whatever. So you can kind of like watch that at the start of summer, and then you can lead into like full on summer with Weekend at Bernie's and stuff. So yeah,
I might do that this year. Those are both. You're right, because those are very summery movies.
Yeah,
they both came out in the summer, from my recollection too. So
yeah. And go ahead.
I say they're both on cable at the same time, which would have been summer of '88. So I think they both came out, or '89. So I think they came out in the summer of '88.
Yep, I think you'd be right with that. Yeah, but yeah, that's it's actually surprisingly a great combination of movies to watch. You know, it sort of kind of just both deals with death in a funny way.
I mean, Bernie's definitely manages to get away with doing it without it ever going into the macabre,
right?
Or however you want to say it.
And plus, the guy who's kills Bernie, I love him in that movie. He's like, when he gets him, he's choking him down and he's beaten after he's dead. He's like, there. I
can't think of that actor's name, but
I know, but I know he's from
Return
of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I guess Script Doctor actually knows him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because he's also in Happy Gilmore and stuff like that.
Yep, Happy Gilmore and that.
You suck! He was on SCTV. I can't think of his damn name. Yeah.
Yeah, what is his name?
Well, instead of looking
I
it
can't
up,
remember.
We just wait for somebody in the audience to tell.
Yeah, somebody out there who's seen this, to let us know. But yeah, that's great. That's a great double feature there, right there. The Burbs and the Weekend at Bernie's. It starts with some great summer movies you can watch.
Even if Kino or Vinegar Syndrome were to do it, Tim, I would be happy with that. But I would just bring it up because I kind of gripe about the Shout Selects, because they kind of started off pretty decent, and then it's like kind of a bait and switch. Like the first Shout Select, if I remember right, was City Slickers. Had all the same special features as the DVD and Blu-ray. The only thing that was new is they did a new 4K scan, only it wasn't a 4K Blu-ray. So it was kind of like kind of thing. And then I brought on another one I bitched about was Liar Liar, even though there's a couple of new special features on there, which I didn't, to be fair, I didn't watch, so I can't speak to the caliber of. Or Mill Creek, yes.
Yeah. HVP, don't put that evil out there. Don't put that evil out there.
Because then we'll just get the same damn thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of that, but the scan on that one was horrible. And it was like, it's the same fucking scan as the old Blu-ray that you can get for $6 or $5 or whatever at Walmart. It's like...
I will say speaking of the Burbs, is a Shout Select. It's one of their better ones. It's got a new 2K scan. And
it does. Yeah,
it's got some good special features.
See, that one pissed me off because I already imported it like 2 years before that from I think Arrow did it.
Oh yeah. I think I remember that actually.
But I think their scan is new, so I was still thinking about getting it. But at this point, I might as well wait for a 4K one or something. That'll probably get a 4, because that's even though it didn't do that great in the box office, that's always been a popular one on video. So I wouldn't be surprised if Universal doesn't do that one in 4K at some point.
It'd be nice. I've always enjoyed that movie. It was always one of those like weird, because it's Joe Dante and it's Tom Hanks and it's a bit horror, but it's comedy and it's dark comedy and it's Carrie Fisher. It's just a great flick.
Shout has to be careful doing UHD since Kino lost money on one of their first. Which one did they lose money on, Tim? And they must have rebounded like a madhouse because they have been killing it as of late. Because I've been buying Kino titles for the last couple of years. I mean, I used to get them here and there. I was never really aware of them that much until a while back, and then they would have their sales. So I just started buying like handfuls of their movies, and I'm just like, wow. These are great movies for a great price. Yeah, the prints aren't always the best, but they don't overcharge like Shout and some of the other places do for just. So that's my problem with Shout. If they're going to give me a new scan and stuff like that, then it's worth the $20. But if you're simply going to slap on the same fucking scan as before and shit like that, to me bothers me.
Yeah.
And no new special features and things like that, especially movies that deserve it.
Especially since like Shout Select was also supposed to be like they're sort of cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it supposed to be cheaper? I thought it was supposed to be more prestige.
Was it supposed to be more prestige? I always felt like it was kind of being like here's movies that you've wanted, but we're not really going to do a lot of work to. That's what I felt like it was.
See, I always thought I was under the impression they were the more prestigious titles because it was like City Slickers, which was an Oscar.
Yeah, that's true.
Movie.
That's true.
And you had Fargo and some other ones that were more Oscar movies and
you're right. Then they should really clean them up and.
That's what I would thought, and then like especially when they did Deer Hunter in 4K, I'm like, well, that's kind of more like it. Like that's what I'm talking about.
I forgot about some of those that they did there, like that.
I mean, you're right. You're right on it because they have done some really great titles under that.
They have
label, but
I will say like, The Burbs and 3 O'Clock High are pretty good ones.
A Shout Select one.
Yeah, that's a Shout Select.
You know, 3 O'Clock High, I don't mind because 3 O'Clock High has never had a Blu-ray release.
Yeah, it's never had a Blu-ray.
It had a DVD release, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I was really glad to get it because I always was a fan of that movie, and it's got a great new scan and it's got a lot of good special features. So I would put those. And plus, that was like one of the early ones though. It's like they kind of tailed off with the newer ones afterwards.
Yeah, they've been hit and miss. Like Shout's been kind of losing a lot of ground to Kino. Speaking of,
I know
they lost money on Hannibal. Really? Wow. Of course, that's not the most famous of the fucking.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated that movie. That's probably why.
Yes, and Shout is doing an OOP sale right now. So
what?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Actually, I ordered a couple.
I was wanting to get that Robert Englund one.
I didn't get that one. I got Dances with Wolves because I'm like, I have a feeling that's a 4K contender. But now that Amazon owns MGM, I have no idea if it'll be released on disc again anytime soon. And what was the other two I got? Hercules 1 and 2 with Lou Ferrigno.
Oh yeah, with Lou Ferrigno. I saw this.
I think there was was that all three I got? I don't know. I think I got maybe that was it. I got enough to get the free shipping. I know that.
Honestly, I was thinking about getting that Robert Englund one and the Saved by the Bell collection because that's actually a pretty good deal for the whole series. I thought
about it, but it's on DVD.
I know that's the thing; it's on DVD, but it's like every series and every movie.
But it would be
$40 right now.
See, that might have been shot on video anyway. So
yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else I ordered. The hell was it? I was kind of pissed because I think I got Rockula pretty cheap, but that was one of the ones that was in the
Rockula was on sale not too long ago.
So I think I only paid like $3 more than what they had it here for. But
good night, Tommy. Have a good one.
Maybe that was all the ones I got.
I noticed there's not like a
Super
whole lot.
Beast was the other one I got. Super Beast.
Yeah, there's not like a whole lot of them that's going to OOP that I really was too interested in, other than the Robert Englund one and the really tempted on the. But like you said, it's DVD. But then again, it could have just been shot on tape, so it could maybe not get a Blu-ray.
Well, my other problem with when they do these out of print sales, or when you look in their out of print section, 9 times out of 10, they're going to get re-released by somebody else or Shout themselves.
Yeah,
that's why they're putting them out of print.
Yeah.
Like I grabbed the Hercules ones because I was like, I don't remember who made those originally, so they probably aren't going to get another release. And same thing with, like I said, Dances with Wolves. I have no idea. With MGM being bought by Amazon, nobody knows what's going to happen yet there. And I have a feeling they're not going to do a lot of Blu-ray releases.
It's true. No, I don't believe Arrow and Shout are connected. Arrow was now been bought by Zavvi. So
yeah, and Shout is owned by the guys who started Rhino back in the day. And I think now it consists of guys who worked at Anchor Bay and Rhino, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think they might own the Rhino label still.
I think they do put some Rhino stuff out still.
Yeah, I think they're all still the same label. And I think it was just some other guys from Anchor Bay and stuff came over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because Anchor Bay was bought by Stars a few years back. And so they quit being like a boutique company and just more of a straight up just release shit company. But all right, we're gonna wrap it up.
I guess we better wrap it up. We've been going 3 hours. This is probably the longest one we've done in a while. So hopefully it has replayability. I don't know. I've been thinking about doing what some people do, where like possibly moving them all these shows to a new
Probably
channel.
Not a horrible idea.
Yeah, so I was thinking about doing. So I just got to start downloading them and then uploading them. But yeah, thank you guys for everybody in the chat. Tim Hayes, HVP, Tommy, the Guinea Pig Collector, Snowdub, Tyrell72, Dan Blackroyd, Cosmic Squirrels, Stephen Luther, Aaron Johnson, Bogey, Random Brad Creator, and if I missed your name, Marcus A. If I missed your name, I apologize, but thank you all for watching. Thank you for everybody watching out there. Appreciate it. So as always, and I never get to it on time, you know what to do.
How you doing? Bitches leave. Bitches leave.